Yeah, we're back on YouTube. I just need to make sure. I want to see. So I'm thinking there was an issue. This is just a clone of what happened before, if anyone's watching the DVR version. But like, I needed to turn off the stream because I need to change the resolution because I need to lower the bit rate, and lowering the bit rate while keeping the same resolution is a really stupid idea. So I had to turn it off and then come back. So now I'm checking to see if the output resolution is exactly the way that I want it. Yes, perfect. And I want to see how blocky it is. Damn, it is. Yeah, it is not so great, but you know what? We're gonna have to stay right here because I think I'm running into a bandwidth issue, an upload issue with my internet provider. I think that's the reason why I keep YouTube keeps on like freezing up and just not outputting anything, or YouTube is just like blocking my stuff. But yeah, I'm just gonna continue what I was doing with my video.
It's 2023. Come on, guys.
Okay, how do you solve the apartheid?
And we're listening to Destiny.
How do you
That's a
solve
good
it?
question. How do we solve the
that.
apartheid?
I can answer that. Release
Assuming that it's an
get rid of the
apartheid.
blockade in Gaza. Get the 600,000 illegal settlers from the West Bank out of there. Stop doing nightly check-ins where you go in and you disrupt the family and beat up the father and tie him up. Stop all the human rights atrocities that are happening to the people in Gaza and the West Bank. Give them civil rights, give them autonomy, give them their own borders. Let's go back to the 1967 borders delegated by the UN. That's where we start. We end the occupation, we start treating them like human beings, and we stop occupying them. That's the real solution. That's what the UN voted for several times.
Okay, cool. So you're in favor. You said you're in favor of a two-state solution then?
I think
No,
I have a better solution, but the most
I have a better solution.
I heard 67 borders. Doesn't that mean two-state solution?
Actually, a two-state solution with an armed Palestinian state, that could work, but they have to be as armed as Israel is.
Why don't we go back to the 67 borders when Jordan owned?
We should start making oscillators. I would never. Okay. There's something. Oh, that means they're probably in here, the assemblers, isn't it? Yes, rifle ammo, and I gotta make smokeless powder. Ah, shoot. That requires. No, that requires. I gotta make smokeless powder off-site. No. All right, whatever. I guess we're doing that. All right, so we're gonna make smokeless powder. Shoot.
Own the West Bank and Egypt own the Gaza Strip. Are those the ones you want to go back to, or?
How about
No, I'm talking about the ones where Palestine has autonomy and has sovereignty, not Jordan and Egypt. We can actually go back to the 19. Wait, hold on.
All right, so what we need to do for smokeless powder is basically we need residue, the liquid residue for oil residue or whatever it's called, heavy residue or light residue, whatever it's called. It has residue in the name. It's the purple stuff in the liquid in the refining location. We need that stuff to make smokeless powder because it needs to go into a refinery. And I'm not packaging up like residue, bring it to the base just so I can unpackage it and then turn it into and then use the residue like that. No. We're gonna make the residue on this refining site because we have a bunch of it just sitting around. Oh, that's what these were gonna be. Isn't that what I was gonna do with this? We were gonna make smokeless powder. Yeah. Yes. And we need 20 black powder per minute, and black powder requires coal and sulfur. And look what's right here. Coal and sulfur. And look what's like being used, and look what's not being used. A nice good old 280 line of coal and sulfur. So we're making that good stuff over here on base. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. And then we'll just literally truck the smokeless powder to the base, and then make our rifle ammo and other ammo and other stuff that needs that type of stuff at the base. So I think that's what we're gonna do with these two machines.
Why did we go back to the 1947 borders delegated by UN?
Well, we would have, but the Arabs voted that down. Remember, the Palestinians said they didn't like that.
No, it was actually the Zionists. No, it was actually the Zionists. That's why they did the first Nakba, if you remember.
Are you sure they didn't do the first Nakba? Because all the Arabs voted it down, and then all of them invaded and tried to steal Palestinian land from them? Like they claimed that Israel could do?
That was after they had invaded and destroyed
Two different fluids. Cool.
In Palestine.
Oh, really? Wait,
Yes.
Jesus, can you tell me, why didn't Jordan give why did Jordan capture the West Bank? Why didn't give the Palestinians a state? Why did Egypt capture the Gaza Strip? Why didn't they give the Palestinians a state? They held the land for 20 years.
Wait, hold on.
Because
They literally did after they took occupation of those areas, they literally gave it back. What are you talking about?
Hold on. No, they didn't. Excuse me? Jordan extended from the lands of Jordan all the way up to Jerusalem. Egypt literally controlled and ran the Gaza Strip. What do you mean they gave it back? You're telling me those were countries?
No, but do they still occupy them today?
No.
No, because Israel won them back in wars against those countries.
Okay, and?
So I'm asking you, why in the 20 years from 1948 to 1967, why didn't Jordan give the Palestinians a state? Why didn't Egypt give the Palestinians a state?
Because Jordan and Egypt, they both didn't have the power to do that. Like,
Why?
They didn't have the power to just pull their armies back?
No, of course not, because those people needed protection. Because
Yo, it's so nice. It's so like satisfying to hear someone that actually like did their homework and go into a debate and then literally throw factoid out of factoid after factoid and tripping them up, and they're like, well, why did this happen? Well, why did that happen? And then they're trying to like, they're scrambling so hard. Like there's like 3 different people that this guy's arguing with, because these guys don't actually like, they don't like this Destiny dude. He literally was for like the past 2 weeks just reading like from the beginning of the history of like before 1945, because like everyone's like, oh, that's when we should that's when the history starts, at 1945. Well, what happened before that? And Destiny read from way before that and then past 1945, and I think he's at the 20,000s now, and he's just doing a bunch of reading on that now. But like, that's crazy. That's funny. Just listening to him, Mr. Knowledgeable here, like deleting all these other guys that have some information. I don't think they're idiots, but like they're not as well read as Destiny is, which is kind of funny because like they're supposed to be like the pro
this conflict right now. But I think it would be more useful if we just like talked about the this conflict and like what's going on, and like what are some criticisms we can have of Israel, and
buddy,
what
I'm
do
sorry,
we like?
this is a very serious conflict, and it didn't start on October 7th. To understand the existence of Hamas and the response that Hamas gave back to Israel's occupation, you have to understand the situation at its inception. And to understand that, you have to go back to the beginning of the 19th century, right before the World War. There's a lot of events that tie into it that leads to the current conflict between the Zionists and the Arabs in the region. That's how you
exactly, brother Ed. At this point, I'm really asking myself the question: are these egghead Israeli apologists even capable of understanding?
Well, by the way, guys, not to clout farm, but please follow me. I have a spaces every night around this time. We're going to be having Layla, who's a journalist from the ground in Lebanon, who's going to be joining us very soon. Thank you. Go on.
Cool. I said earlier, I don't know if I was muted or not, but I don't read anything.
You
it sounds
probably
like that
were
other
muted.
Destiny guy does read stuff though, so maybe you could ask him. But like, I
does read stuff though? What do you mean does read stuff though? He's been on this nonsense for like the past freaking, wait, wrong buttons. For the past 3 to 4 weeks now, just nonstop, like what do you call it? Just reading over and over on his own stream for like 4 to 8 hours a day, just nonstop, like reading the history of like Israel, Palestine, the whole Middle East, all of that stuff. And this guy's like, I know this Destiny guy. He did do some reading. Like that's like the downplay of the year,
We
man.
really care about like
That's so like
what's
I honestly
disingenuous.
don't think Destiny is very like knowledgeable about the geopolitics of
Of course.
that region. To be honest,
Yeah, you have to say
Yeah,
that.
sure, like, he's
Cope
knowledgeable
answer.
about other things,
Cope
but
answer.
Not about geopolitics in that region for sure.
I agree. I don't know much. Like, for
No.
instance, I didn't know that liberal democracies were fascist. I just learned that today, so thank you.
No, but liberal.
Well, you didn't understand. Wait, hold on. You don't understand the difference between an ideology and a form of government, though, either, do you? Go on.
Well, I don't.
But I don't know how you're connecting them. Like
That's so funny.
what?
That's so funny. That is, look, he literally asked Destiny a question, and then when Destiny's about to speak, he immediately gets muted. Like, look at that. You see, this is stupid. Destiny's like, why am I even here? I don't need to be here. If you're gonna ask me a question, and then when I start talking, you immediately mute me, what's the point? What is the point? There is no point. The point is that this is just what was the oh, here. The whole this like liberal democracy is fascism. Destiny gets dogpiled and muted in a 6v1 debate. Yep, literally what it was. I'm gonna give a nice little like to that because that was BS. That was actual BS. All right.
if they're different. Like you can say that you are still saying.
All
that
right, so let's
the
just listen to
Israeli
them
government is
cope.
Fascist, right?
Yes.
I reject.
Here's okay. No, let me pose this better. Let me say
Because
this
like
better,
when
okay?
Israel
But, like,
when we
hold on,
finally
hold on,
declare
hold on.
that Israel is actually
Zionism
fascist,
is a
that's gonna
fascist
fix everything,
ideology.
right?
And Israel represents that ideology. That's a better way to put it.
What about
Okay.
Islamist ideology? What do you like? Isn't that closer to fascism than Zionism, where you literally subjugate people that aren't part of your religious hegemony or whatever to like second-class citizens? You make them pay extra taxes. You treat them differently.
False.
False.
Actually,
That's all you gotta. Saying false over and over again is not an argument. Holy, that's just. Oh, that's nice. That is nice. Let's go.
Sorry,
That's
one second.
totally
Can I clarify
false.
that? Yeah,
the
can I
people
clarify
outside
that?
of your religion don't pay extra taxes. They pay a lesser tax than the people of the religion.
Yeah,
You're
that-
wrong
that's-
about
First of all, they
that.
don't
That's-
pay a lesser tax. They literally have a separate tax classification.
No,
Secondly, they're
that's-
literally treated as second-class citizens. Thirdly, after every single war Israel won, there were literally Jewish people expelled from every single
maybe
fucking
you want
Arab
to go
state
back
across
to
the
your
entire fucking
Jewish
Middle East.
ancestors and ask them how they lived under Islamic systems. I'm pretty sure they would tell you that they want to go back to live there.
if
Yeah,
I can just
really?
respond
It seems to me like they'd
Destiny.
rather live on their own separate state that they kind of took from you guys in the Middle East.
But wait, why take an Arab state? Why take territory from the Arabs when it was never the Arabs that discriminated against you? I mean, the
Well,
Jews have been
technically, it was never
discriminated-
an Arab state. It was just like empty land with a bunch of people who kept dying of
actually,
fucking
it's not true.
malaria
It was
over and
still-
over
no,
again.
it
But
was-
I mean, if you
it
want to
was
get
still-
technical about it.
No. It was still denominated as Palestine even under Ottoman rule. They were still known as Palestine even on maps that go back centuries. So
Yeah, 'cause,
please,
like, people
brush up on your
now-
knowledge on that to that
Wait,
extent,
hold up.
please.
What am I?
But,
Oh, I'm
yeah, I
watching
mean,
my
again,
own. Okay,
why
that's
should
stupid.
Israel go? Why should the Zionist movement go and invade a land in the Middle East when it was never the Arabs that were discriminating against the Jews? I mean, we all know it was Europe that since the 11th century didn't allow them to be like engineers, doctors,
All right, I need.
good professions. So they had to.
All right, we can stop that for a second. I need to do 40 per minute smokeless powder. I mean, gunpowder. I mean, wait, what is it called? It's in the assemblers. I need to figure out a place to throw them. This stuff, black powder. I need black powder. I need 40 per minute. So I probably shouldn't have deleted that. Oh, wow. Okay. So we need just 2, or we need 40 per minute. We can just use yeah, we'll just have 1. Well, yeah, we'll do 45. We'll do 45. It doesn't really matter. Oh, so 1 assembler. All right. So I can plop this anywhere. I guess right here. This would be nice. Yeah. And then the output can... Ooh, this is going to be tight. This is going to be real tight. We could just go above the pipe. Yeah. All right. Well, first. I don't say it enough times. I don't need to worry about input because I know I'm blasting a ton of this sulfur and coal into the base. Let's reroute this. Ooh, this is in the perfect position for... This... I'll have to change it. There we go. Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice. Yeah, I'm gonna do exactly that. That's cool. That is actually cool. Oh, wait, no. Nope. There. Oh, that's... all right, that's clipping. Oh, you know what? You know what I think? Since that's clipping. That was a long autosave. Holy crap. There we go. No. I'm running out of... tier 4 the materials for tier 4 belts. Nice. You know what? All right. Tier 3 belts it is. Actually, no. All right, yeah. That works. That works. Okay. Cool. Great.
Resort to money laundering, or sorry, money lending, because the Catholic states at that time, it was illegal for them to do so as a religion. So what happened was the Jews became money lenders. They became very rich because of it, and that's where all the tropes and the racist stereotypes come from. And they don't. None of this stems from how the Jews were treated within Arab and Islamic nations. You go back centuries and centuries, and Jews within these Arab nations were always living completely with equality and in complete peace. So if you want to get a piece of land, go chunk a piece of Germany off, or go chunk a piece of Florida or a piece of Poland. Go take a part of the continent that exiled you and discriminated against you for one
All right, I'm back. Yeah.
A whole millennia. Oh shit! I muted everybody. My bad. I didn't mean to mute.
I muted
They know
everybody.
they can't.
Stupid.
They know they.
Can I just respond to Destiny's point, because like that was slanderous, to be honest with you. That was slanderous on Islam.
He's so
You said
butthurt
the
from
jizya
Destiny.
was
Holy
not-
crap.
It was not a punishment tax on people who didn't subscribe to Islam. It was to offset, because Muslims had the fault of zakat and barakah. They had to pay that. So jizya is to balance it out, because Islam was a way of ruling during that society. So it was a tax on everybody. It was to balance it out. But there was no sub treatment of non-Muslims. That's false, because and that's evident in the people on the ground. You can
Bro,
see the diversity
can
of the
you
Middle
stop?
East.
Hold on. This is so
No,
fucking cringe.
one sec. It is slander.
Oh my
This isn't cringe. This isn't cringe. This, like, you can look. Kurds existed in the Middle East. They maintained their culture, their language, and their own autonomy over themselves. You have Ashurians, Chaldeans, all existed in the region of the Middle East under Islamic rule, and all of them still maintain their religion. They maintain their language. All of them. You cannot. That's evidence through genetics and through culture.
Can you explain what? Can you explain what? Can you explain what does dhimmi mean?
Dhimmi?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if what you're referring to is the religious figures that are preaching within the Islamic rule.
No, shut the fuck up. Are you even a fucking Islam? Wait, are you even a Muslim?
Yes, I am Muslim.
Okay, Jews and Christians were literally relegated to second-class citizen status across the Islamic countries they lived in, including the Ottoman Empire. Everything you said was a fucking lie. You can Google it if you want to learn about it, but I don't give a. I'm not here to talk about that right now. I didn't know why you're contesting this. Number one. Number two, there was no fucking Palestine on a map ever. That's bullshit. The first time Palestinians even had some sense of fucking national identity, it's been like the past 50, 60 years. That's why when Egypt conquered them, nobody cried for a state. That's why when Jordan conquered them, nobody cried for a fucking state.
Hey, Destiny, hold on. Destiny, just because you
Facts and logic and reasoning, and then this guy's gonna be like, oh, just because you talk fast doesn't mean that you're right. Like, that's just the most retarded thing I've ever heard. Like, that's literally what he's gonna say, like 100% guaranteed. So stupid.
You speak fast doesn't mean you're smart. Go ahead, Layla. Let's Layla speak.
Yeah. Let's start one thing. Saying that Palestine did not exist on the map, I literally have a video with all the documents in it showing that the map literally confessed to Palestine since 1700s and even before. But like the earliest map I could ever get my hands on was from the 1700s. It says Palestine, okay?
Do you know where the borders of Palestine even are?
One second. Let me just continue. And Golda Meir had the Palestinian passport. And Shamir and others actually applied for the Palestinian citizenship before 1948, by the way. And there's a video where basically Golda Meir herself says, I am Palestinian. That was before basically 1948 and mumbo jumbo, etc. We have permits, licenses, and even like sewer caps that says government of Palestine on them, and they're older than Israel today. So keep it at that. Al-Shifa Hospital, the one that's being bombarded by the Israelis, is older than Israel. And it had a Palestinian identity before that.
So basically what she's saying is that, basically is what she, I'm not turning off that mini thing every single time I do this. She's basically saying, oh, I got a picture with the date on it. Someone wrote the date before Israel was formed. So therefore, correct. Correct. I have that. And it's been validated by historians. Whatever that's supposed to mean. But okay, whatever. I honestly don't care too much about this.
Palestine was a developed country. The first car that went into the Middle East went into Palestine before there was Israel. Let me finish the last point. And under Islamic ruling, even from everything, like you're talking about jizya, etc., whatever it is, I agree with the brother who actually is saying.
I like how she says, "Let me finish" when Destiny's literally muted.
You have to pay taxes in that country.
Like, how is he supposed to say anything?
For Muslims, they call it zakah, etc. For non-Muslims, because they can't collect zakah from them, they call it jizya. It's part of the taxes. Everybody pays taxes. It's the name of the tax that differs, but everybody enjoyed equal religious rights. Nobody's allowed to ban somebody from actually practicing his religious rights under Islamic rules. Now, I'm not talking about Ottomans even. I'm talking under Islam. You had caliphates and Muslim caliphates who actually had Christians and Jews as their advisors, as their doctors.
All right,
And
so we're
they were
making 40 per
always
minute
allowed to reach the highest
smokeless powder.
positions, except basically for ruling. And that's normal in a certain society where you have the majority of the people as Muslims. You basically have a Muslim ruler, no matter what. Some of them had mothers who were Jews or Christians, by the way. And even during the Ottoman Empire, the same thing continued. And it was the Ottoman Empire who allowed the Jews from Europe to go and settle in the 1800s, in the mid to late 1800s, to settle in Palestine.
10 per minute. Cool.
And when
Oh,
the Zionists had their
sweet.
dream
10
to
per
come
minute
to
for
Palestine,
75 per minute.
since Herzl's time in
Rifle ammo and copper
1897
sheets,
and
but
up,
we have copper
they
sheets
were
at the
coming to
base.
the Ottoman Empire. Nobody touched them. They were living in peace with the Palestinians. It wasn't until basically the
Oh,
Zionists,
high-speed
extra
connectors.
ultra Zionist
Oh.
started coming after World War I, after Balfour Agreement and Declaration. They came to Palestine and they started regrouping in small groups that were
No.
terrorist organizations.
No.
The Haganah.
It's an
I mean,
all right.
I can name you at least 3 or 4 of them. And they were blasting hotels, killing people, killing civilians. It wasn't the Jews doing that. It was the Zionists, 1922 and others. And when the Arabs retaliated to stop them, the Jews, basically the Zionists started telling the world,
Okay.
oh, the Arabs are attacking Jews, etc. They were rallying people against them. But it was the British who
I'm
caught
gonna steal
the
those.
Zionists
Okay, I'm gonna
and the
steal
radical
those
Jews
from
in
where I'm
Palestine.
making it,
They
and then
called them
I'll
terrorists. It
reproduce
was the
these.
British Empire who
That's
actually called them that.
crazy.
Moving forward to 1948, the Zionists continued to take Palestinian land and kill Palestinians. We're not going to talk about Deir Yassin, 1945, and other massacres that the Zionists committed. We're going to talk about after 1948, when the Israelis said that they have
All
their
right, well,
own
we're
fate.
making smokeless powder,
happened?
so now we
Under
need to make
international
a
law,
truck
Zionism
station
was
to collect that
considered
smokeless
a
powder.
terrorist movement. It was considered a form of racism and discrimination by not only the whole world under United Nations. And there's a very famous decision from the UN General Assembly called, it was 3379 over 1975. It was passed in 1975. It actually considered Zionism a form of discrimination and racism. You can go and check it out, Resolution 3379. And that resolution continued until the early 1990s, supported by the Jews of the world because they were fed up with the Zionist movement. And it was supported by Arabs and supported by everybody who hated terrorism at that point.
What is this person just gonna keep talking forever? I don't understand this. Destiny has he's muted and he has the crying emoji. You guys literally muted me and she's just speaking. Like a lot of the stuff that she's just rambling. She's not really saying, like, I'm not really paying too much attention to what she's saying because she's just rambling, honestly.
And
it's coping.
The Americans
just cope.
voted against
Pure cope.
this resolution and rallied people against it. You know how they rally people within the United Nations? By force or basically threatening them. But that resolution basically was taken out eventually in 1992 or I think 1993. I can't remember the date exactly. However, for almost 20 years, racism was considered and seen by everybody as that. And once the Zionists grew in every government around there in the big 5 countries, and they had their say in world politics, that's when everybody started becoming afraid of even mentioning what Zionism is. And today, if you speak about Zionism, you will be labeled anti-Semite. If you actually criticize a political thing that the Israelis do, you would be considered anti-Semite, despite the fact that Semitism has to do with the race of the original Jews, not the Ashkenazi Jews or somebody else. Semitism is a race. It has nothing to do with politics. And when you call somebody anti-Semite, mind you, both Sharif and I are Semites.
I gotta go back to base and like pick up
we are
more
original
stuff.
Arabs. So kindly try to get your facts straight before you come over here. Get your facts straight before you come and spew your own propaganda or your own misinformation on us.
Damn, you guys couldn't hear the game the entire time.
These Zionist,
I'm so mad now.
Zionist apologists are not even capable of understanding.
Can I just ask Layla a question?
Let him argue facts. I gave him facts on the ground that he can double check.
Yeah,
Can
I just ask Layla a question?
Guys, ask your question. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, Lily, yeah, that was a lot of knowledge. You're saying that Palestine existed even before Israel declared independence and that Golda Meir had a Palestinian passport? Can you tell me who issued that?
Golda Meir said that on camera.
The occupation, The British occupation, there's a video where Golda Meir says, I am Palestinian. And I have literally a card from Golda Meir in the 1930s. She sent it to her friend Shoshana and in Egypt. Golda Meir at the time.
So this lady doesn't even have the thing. She just has she just knows someone that has it. That said that they had it. Like, what? Okay, all right, Miss. That just shows how much credibility this lady that was talking for like the past 30 minutes has.
Time was in Tel Aviv. She sent her a postcard signed Golda Meir. It says like she puts the address and then she puts Palestine towards the end. She could
Layla, you said she was issued a Palestinian passport. Can you tell me who the issuing authority was on that?
Yeah, it was the occupation over Palestine.
Oh, so it wasn't a Palestinian state. It was
Yo, like after that 30-minute ramble of her just coping, just literally, I'm just gonna call it cope because like that's Destiny threw out a lot of things that they just disagreed with, and now they're just trying to re-scramble the narrative and make everyone be like, no, that's not true, 100% not true. I gotta ramble now and like change the disprove Destiny in with 1,000 words because one question that Destiny asks literally completely deletes their entire narrative. And I'm like, if one question can do that and you need like 1,000 questions to completely disprove Destiny, I think one person is right here and the other person is just coping here. Like that's weird.
Layla, hold on. Destiny, why are we arguing about nationality and passports when really what we're talking about who are the indigenous peoples of that region? Okay, the Native Americans never denoted their land as Native America, but they still genocided the Native Americans. They still ethnically cleansed them. So your whole point about nationality and all this crap is BS. Go on, Layla.
Disprove. 100% true. I am not being sarcastic whatsoever.
I'm going to mute everybody because I don't want somebody to jump in when I'm saying something, and I'm sorry about that, but this is a dictatorship.
I think that's Destiny disconnected. I think.
Really over here, so I'm going to mute everyone.
Yeah, Destiny left already. He's gone. He's completely gone. All right, so I don't really know why I'm not listening to this anymore. It's stupid. Like that's actually no. Do they make a good point?
Just in case, just in case.
I think they make a good point.
Lebanon was under the French occupation. Well, the Lebanon not exist under international law. The French mandate over Lebanon, much like the British mandate over Palestine, were occupation force legalized by the League of Nations. So Palestine existed. It was a piece of land that had people in it, and they had self-governance under their own sheikhs and princes, etc. They were very advanced. The Ottomans occupied the region.
Were they now?
But that doesn't mean the region basically was Turkish. They occupied several countries, much like any empire goes and occupies a country. And once the occupation,
okay,
the country.
I mean, it looks like he's gone.
This is what happened to Lebanon. It was under the Ottoman occupation. Then the French occupation came. Then the Israeli occupation came, and the Syrian later on occupation, the military occupation came until it was legalized until 1990.
Hold on, Layla. Hold on. I think
is she talking?
Let me just interrupt you.
Yeah, she's not talking to anybody.
Listen. Destiny left. Okay, it's clear he was out of his depth in terms of knowledge here, and he resorted to arguing about was there a Palestinian passport, was there a Palestinian nationality.
That is the most copious answer I've ever heard.
Even if there wasn't,
out of his depth here in knowledge. Okay, dude. You know what? No. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna disprove this right now.
The land of the Native Americans.
It's time for me to pause this. I'm actually not gonna.
Unfortunately, I don't have
I'm just gonna lower my game a little bit. But it's time for me to disprove this. This is stupid. This is just so stupid. All right. Destiny. Actually, no. I'm an idiot. Why did I go to a completely different tab when I can just go to his channel right there? Right? Alright. We're about to disprove this right now. This is Destiny's like terrible. We're gonna go to his live, right? No, we're gonna go to playlists, right? And we're just gonna scroll down until we see. Where is it? There it is. No, I just want to see the playlist. There we go. Okay. All right. So what is this? 2 weeks ago? All right. This was the last day. So now we got 11 hours of Boring Research Day, history of Israel and Palestine. Wait, hold up. Let's zoom in. Yeah, you can see that. You can see that perfectly. Yeah. So what is this? Oh, we need to go back down again. Well, not okay. So the first day, 11 hours. Maybe starting Israel and Palestine research tonight. That was the day before, I guess. Boring Research Day, 11 hours. Boring Research Day, Israel-Palestine conflict, 10 hours. Boring Research Day, Israel-Palestine conflict, 6 hours. Next day, Boring Research Day, Israel-Palestine conflict, basically 7 hours. Another 10 hours of the same thing. Another 7 hours of the same thing. Organizing notes today, maybe researching random debates, chill time, 7 hours. Short stream, random Israel-Palestine debates today. Okay, so he starts doing debates after what? An accumulation of... He only did this for like a few days. It seems like it's only been a few days. But... literally work schedules. He has more than... Even though it's only been a few days, it's like, what? Almost 100 hours of pure... like research and just like researching. Did he actually start doing more reading? No, he's just doing other debate stuff because he has like a Ben Shapiro debate thing. But yeah, that's just it's so annoying how people are like, oh, Destiny barely does any research. But like, look, I'm gonna open up this 9-hour stream. I'm gonna go to some random moment and we're gonna see what is he doing.
I think the next thing is the Camp David Accords.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's go to another random location.
White people be allowed to call black people the N-word? Like, no, I don't think that would be okay. I feel like we have we've got kind of this intuitive understanding of what's okay or not okay.
Yeah, let's not. That's great. He's still doing the research. That probably was a mini ramble.
Oh shit, hold on. That with them of the Palestinian issue.
Oh, look at that. More reading. A couple hours later. Oh, look at that. More reading. A couple hours later.
Legitimacy.
Oh, look at that. Even more reading. A couple hours later. Like it's not like he's just playing video games and doing this and then just doing random reading on the side. He's literally on top of this 100% all the time, and people are like, "Oh, Destiny barely does any research or anything like that." Like, no. That's just insane. Sitting and doing this for 6 hours, that's crazy. For 9 hours, and he did that like daily. That's insane. That's crazy. And it literally was boring. But you know what? He did it. He stuck it out. And I respect Destiny for that. And so get out of here with your annoying notions of like, oh, Destiny is like this guy that barely does any research. No, he's been doing a lot of research, way more research than I'm ever gonna do on the conflict myself. 100%. Like, holy. All right, back to the game, because like I just need to disprove that notion that Destiny doesn't do any research, and I'm like, no, get out of here. Bullshit. BS. All right. I'm gonna find another video. Sore throat. Oh, okay. Oh, he gets into a real life argument. Okay. Yeah, we'll watch this. Holy. 4 hours and 49 minutes. Well, I'm not going to be watching this in the entire time.
Makes it sound like a bunch of peaceful pastors who are just chilling, and these like hardcore like IDF like Because look at all these words he's using. He's saying the official Israeli account would have it be that peaceful commandos armed only with paintball rifles were ambushed and lynched by a phalanx of radical anti-Western, machete-wielding, bloodthirsty jihadists. He's making fun of that. That is actually what it looks like happened, though. I think we have chairs and bars over here. It'll point it out. Soldiers being hit with metal poles and chairs. You can see it over here. You can see another one here.
And didn't it say before this they were hitting with rubber bullets, stun grenades, and smoke grenades? Or gas or something like that?
Yeah, but they were still repelled. Guy gets thrown overboard.
Hello.
Hi, baby. How you doing?
Pretty good. What up?
Where do you want to start?
Wait, what are we doing?
Well, so I think I'd like to take the moment to like clarify a few things on my positions, because we didn't really get to do that when we talked the other day with Socrates and Lonerbox.
Gotcha.
So I wrote a few of them down. So you gave a position when I was coming up here. I was listening, and you said if people said this, that would be fine, right? And you were saying if people were acknowledging the circumstances, saying this can lead to these types of things, that'd be a reasonable position, right?
Yeah.
That's what my position has been from the beginning. You can go to my logs, chat. You can look at the day during the attack, the day after. I'm making references to 9/11, American foreign policy, the way that these can impact certain groups and situations, and affirming that I'm a two-stater. So, like, from the beginning, that's been my position. So it's been really weird to see, the Hamas-liking jokes coming out.
Okay.
Also, that I haven't read or provided anything. I was providing sources to you during our debate.
Okay.
I have not come to anything.
I'm just checking something.
I think the first source I was asked for during our debate was when I said that 44. I said 44, I think, in the video. I said 44% of civilian structures were hit. I was wrong. It's 44% of civilian, what's it called? 44% of housing units, but civilian housing units have been either destroyed or critically damaged. And I didn't have that source for you immediately. I knew I saw it, and I'll link it in chat.
Okay.
And I'll link it to you.
Gotcha.
All right, perfect.
So the point being is that, and then Forethought does his post, we have our chat, and I think I proved pretty handily that I had read the book. So that, that didn't get retracted.
Okay, wait, which book?
Method and Madness, the one I told him to read.
Okay. What is this?
Book by Finkelstein.
And is this just over like 2008, 2009, or?
That covers Protective Edge, Cast Lead, Brother's Keeper, and Pillar of Defense.
Okay, gotcha.
There were a few things in there. I mean, we don't have to litigate the whole thing, but basically saying that like he cites himself too much. I asked Forethought how much. He says, well, academics say 10%. I went to the numbers. It's 8.89%. He cites himself. And he even says in the preface, this is some other work that I've done, rewritten in certain cases.
All right, let me set up the fuel line before anything else.
But everything he cited, there was a citation for. There was one, there was a hang up on. Two, I think it was. One was when he was talking about it's the MO of the IDF to provoke responses to something so they have a justification to go to battle. It was a little, it took a second to figure out which source was which referring to it, but it was cited. Forethought had a contention with the fact that Finkelstein has 2 sentences in this book, and then he cites 2 pages from his other book, but his other book, where those 2 pages are, he's condensing 2 pages of research and thought into those 2 sentences, cites it.
Yo, autosave is so slow.
He had an issue with Egypt not being brought up.
Is there a way for me to fix that?
Egypt
like,
wasn't,
holy.
pertinent to it, and it wouldn't have changed the narrative at all of the book if they were mentioned. It's just then another checkbox of another state involved in the siege, the blockade.
Gotcha. I'm curious. I just wanted to look up one quick thing. I'm just curious.
I'm not gonna have
into the sea.
I'm not gonna have too much response for this because I'm not 100% well read on. No, I'm not. I'm barely well read on this. Like the only knowledge that I have is from this dude, Destiny, that I have for this game. For this stuff. The Israel-Palestine stuff. That's like my knowledge right there. I don't watch him do those things, but I did pop into some of his streams, and he was just reading.
No, it was during I think
almost
either
a
the
whole
Camp
week.
David Accords or the Oslo Accords.
Yeah, the Oslo. I'm just
10
curious where it
hours.
comes from.
So much.
I
I
see
already
that,
told
like,
you
Prime
guys
Minister
that.
Rabin supposedly said it, if only it would just sink into the sea. I'm just curious what the context for this quote is.
All right, so this has fuel.
Oh my god.
We're gonna use a tractor for this one.
I think you just have to put your email in.
I guess we only need one conveyor, right? Ooh.
Damn,
That's
this
not
gets
good.
quoted a lot.
All right.
I'm sorry, I just wanted this one comment. Oh, Norman Finkelstein. Another Finkelstein. Forethought. Wait, what? Hold on. Do not let your
Oh, damn, that's not.
You're unhinged. Wait. Okay, I'm so sorry. Hold on. This is the only thing I'm going to fact check live. I'm sorry. When I was listening to Finkelstein read off quotes in this conversation, when I searched for a couple of them, the way that he uses quotes, as a professor, I would immediately expel him from my class because he wildly misinterprets and opposite quotes people sometimes, which is really wild. But I'm not saying he always does it. Just in that conversation, really good. I'm just curious what the source is for this quote. I just want to hear this one quote where it comes from, and then I'm never going to look him up. I'm sorry, I don't want to waste a lot of time on this. Hold on. Method and Madness. He has a footnote for it.
What's the quote? Oh, hold on. I've got the
I wish it would just sink into the sea. Or if only it would just sink into the sea.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Can somebody find this for me?
I've got it. Give me a second.
Why?
Drinking the sea at Gaza.
Invalid shape. That's a
the quote?
perfect shape.
1 second.
It's Greater Gaza? Or what is it called?
It's from a book, Drinking the Sea at Gaza, Days and Nights in the Land Under Siege.
Drinking the Sea at Gaza. Oh. Maps the zones of ordinary Palestinian life. Rabin. Into the sea. Somebody give me this goddamn book.
I'm seeing if I have it on my Kindle Unlimited.
Where the f is this? Oh.
All right, so that's where smokeless powder is gonna go.
Shortly before. Destiny. What are you quoting from? Mike, what the f are you quoting from? Why would you type that much shit in chat and not just link the source? Why would you ever do this? Oh, thank you. Jesus.
I love it's funny when Destiny gets like so pissed off, and then he just instantly like cools down. It's hilarious.
Okay, fuck you. I did. Okay.
We don't need tier 4 belts on this, honestly. I'm just wasting those materials because I'm not even making it that quickly.
Was this the book? Or is this an excerpt from the book? Here is the book, Drinking the Sea at Gaza. Oh, you're a god.
Look at the smokeless powder
What do I
flow.
click here to download this?
I think you gotta click the top of the title.
Oh, we got.
And then get at the top. I don't know about the other links, so.
Do I want smokeless powder to be running underneath this? Because this
I don't use this shit.
looks graphically amazing with all the shadows of the pipes, and I can walk through it perfectly. But I do need to get over here, and this is like a straight shot. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do this.
EPUB.
I could run above, but that's gonna be complex as... Like, look at this piping system. It's insane. We can go directly over it. Actually, that wouldn't even look too bad. Yeah. Right here, and then just go straight over, right? Over these things.
Okay.
And then...
Sorry, hold on, guys. We're good.
I guess right here... No. Not right there. I think underneath would be more ideal. Yeah, I will do underneath. Cause like this is probably gonna be the only byproduct that I'm gonna be sending back to the base, unless something else requires residue that I don't feel like
Send to
bringing
device.
to the
No,
base.
Open. I just want to open this book.
All right,
Okay.
underneath it is. I think underneath looks
We
cool.
did it.
Hold up. I'm gonna change my wheel because I'm gonna just use tier
A slight
3.
turn of one's head and the view changed. It was the sea hugging the horizon. Just before signing the
Belts.
Oslo Accords, the late Yitzhak Rabin said of Gaza, if only it would just sink into the sea. His harsh
we
words
go.
reflect a widespread Israeli attitude toward the Gaza Strip and its 1 million inhabitants. Numerous articles by Israeli writers have used even stronger language, calling it a hornet's nest and a dunghill. To Yitzhak Shamir, the former prime minister, Gaza represented the eternal untrustworthiness of Palestinians. The sea is the same sea, the Arabs are the same Arabs, he said. The Israeli point of view is best summed
Nudge
up
mode
by the
is
local
amazing.
variant of go to hell, which is quite simply go to Gaza.
Ah, no, I can't do it like that.
Just
I'm gonna
curious.
turn out this way.
What was the name of that Finkelstein book?
Method of Madness.
How was I viewing
No,
like the first
no, don't auto clip. How do I
It's one of the other tabs.
shoot?
I can screenshot it for you.
page? Yeah, go for it.
All right, we'll just delete this for now. No, that's because that's gonna be a pain in the butt
Wait,
to
okay,
get.
wait. What are you showing me?
Put whatever.
You
All
said
right,
you
we'll
wanted
just
the first page.
Oh yeah, just the first page.
focus on one thing at a time. Shoot.
Wait. Oh. Or no. Oh, was that first? It was the opening is where I used that quote.
Hold on.
Sorry. One day, guys, we're gonna do like a whole, and we should just do book reviews, and we'll go hunt down like every single footnote and everything. I think it would be
You should.
an interesting endeavor.
That's what you wanted the page with that quote on it, right?
Yeah. Okay. Click the title. Get.
Right, this is only temporary, so I can
There
actually
you go.
reconnect this thing back up. We're gonna have to delete that and then replace it. There we go. Perfect. Delete all this nonsense. There we go. Perfection.
Okay.
Right?
I don't
You're
think it's that
getting
bad.
yes, you're getting your stuff.
Just
nice.
All right, go for it.
Okay.
I won't do that anymore. Okay.
No,
I just
that's
wanted to say
fine.
that one.
To be fair to Forethought, two other things. There was there's a quote about Israel. I think he says eviscerating.
Loading.
prior agreements
It's
like
saving.
the
It's for
roadmap
okay,
to
there we go.
peace. And him and I had a disagreement, and I didn't do a good job of articulating myself. I did later after he got off, but to summarize, his view was that they never agreed to it, and so Finkelstein is wrong. My point was that if you guys, I went back and read the Carter citation that he gives, and Carter's whole point is that Israel with it and made it so that it continued to stall, and they agreed to their half the way they did. The U.S. didn't say you get to do that, but they just kind of let it go forward. and the Palestinian Authority agreed to it as they had signed it. But the point of Finkelstein's point there is that Israel is free to these agreements and install shit while Hamas and the Palestinian Authority are beholden to it and don't really get that kind of treatment from mediators or the Israelis.
There we go. Smokeless powder.
Nice.
On the
That was
way.
the fourth one, right?
Yeah. And then the last one is that clip of me stalling and my brain breaking. It did break, absolutely. We were talking
let's
about
go.
the Palestinian election in
Let
2006.
me go. Let's
that the US
go.
told them, hey,
It works.
do
It looks
We encourage you
amazing.
to do this. We oversaw it. Jimmy Carter went over there. It was ruled fair and
Nice.
free. And then after Hamas was elected, and again, it's a parliamentary election. They took 74.
I want to
75
recolor
seats.
these things.
The
Turn it
Fatah
like
still had 44 seats,
yeah.
but after
we'll do white and purple or whatever.
the argument is that the U.S. was involved in trying to help back the Fatah to overthrow the Palestinians, or not Palestinians.
Wait, hold on.
Hamas.
Restate all this? I'm sorry. Restate what you just said?
So 2006, the United States encourages an election in Palestine for parliament.
Okay.
In 2005, they had Hamas had opposed the presidential election, but 2006 they decided, okay, we're going to participate. The U.S. is involved. The U.S. is backing the election. The U.S. rules.
Oh,
it
so
fair
this
and
is
secure.
backwards. This is backwards.
And Hamas gets 74 seats in the parliament. Fatah gets 44. Unexpected result. The United States
so
and
we need to
the
make
Quartet
things
basically says, you
like
guys
this.
will have to agree to a bunch of different shit in order to get aid money. Now that you're the government. But Finkelstein makes the argument that, Forethought didn't like the phrasing because he thinks it's whitewashing it, but the point is that Hamas consolidates power after doing a coup with the Fatah. But things like the blockade and the involvement of the U.S. trying to get behind the Fatah to do something, he refers to
because
it as
this
the
is
Democracy
oh
Promotion
wait
Initiative.
no
Wait. Hold on. I'm really confused about how we just said all of that together.
Yeah.
Okay. Fatah consolidated power.
I can show you the.
This is turbo
No,
fuel.
just talk
That's
to me
why I'm
entirely.
coloring it
Okay.
red.
When you say
right?
Fatah, or I'm sorry.
They say Hamas. He says.
And this
Hamas
turbo fuel
consolidated
is being
power after a
is
failed
actually being
Democracy
piped to
Promotion
that
Initiative.
power plant over
failure.
there.
Oh, is that what
US backed.
Finkelstein says?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay, that's consistent. I've never heard Finkelstein reference the Hamas coup in the Gaza Strip. He always says that they won an election, and then for some reason, immediately after that, with the United States blessing, Israel puts up a blockade. Those are the...
Well, the blockade was already there, but they continued to tighten the blockade.
Wait. The blockade was already where?
The blockade started in 2005, but they clamped down the blockade after the election.
Oh no!
let me
I
just get
completely
that.
forgot. Oh, that's not good.
Blockade,
That's not good.
Gaza.
That's not good.
Gaza.
That's not good. All right. Yeah, we are.
A blockade has been imposed by Israel and Egypt on the movement of goods and people in and out of the Gaza Strip since 2005. After Hamas' takeover in 2007, the blockade aimed to isolate Hamas and prevent the smuggling of weapons into Gaza. It has also led to significant humanitarian challenges. What is the blockade in 2005?
We don't need
Is
any
this
more
like
plastic
just a
to
sea
be
blockade,
making any
or
more
is this
canisters.
the same blockade that exists today?
I can't remember if they started to enforce the sea blockade more later, because that's been a bigger issue. I know that the Mavi Marmara that was attacked by commandos from Israel, that was in 2010, I think, late 2009, 2010. So I don't know the history exactly on the sea portion of it.
Well, my understanding is because I remember during the
Shoot, now I'm
second
gonna have to delete a
Intifada,
bunch of these canisters.
capturing vessels, submersibles, or maybe submarines. I think.
All right. So what I want to do with the plastic is
coming into the
is
Mediterranean,
route it back
that was a big deal. Like there were lots
to
of ships that they caught.
there
I think,
to
were
the base over
primarily
there.
Funded by Iran, I think,
So
with tons of
I'm gonna
weapons.
do
So
something
I can
real
understand the
quick.
sea blockade. Yeah.
Yeah, but the Mavi Marmara was not. The document
I'm not gonna truck it because it's very little
before the
plastic
attack
being made.
referred to them
Wait. Before what attack?
the Mavi Marmara.
What is that?
It's a Turkish flotilla that was attacked by commandos,
What about it?
and so they attacked the flotilla, and they knew that the flotilla was just a group of people that were bringing aid to Palestine.
Wait. Can you tell me about this story? Show me specifically what you're talking about.
Yeah, Mavi Marmara.
Mavi Marmara. This thing?
Yep. So
In 2000 when?
2009.
Ooh, I'm gonna do something cool.
We don't care about this. I'm saying that during
Because like
the
I'm
second
literally just gonna
audit,
belt it there, but I'm gonna make it look
2002,
nice. It's gonna be in
around
style.
2005,
It's gonna make it look like it's important when it's just
submersibles
giving
that
like
had
what,
been
a
caught
tiny little bit of
by
plastic.
IDF's naval force that was loaded with weapons and cash.
Maybe, but I mean, at the end of the day, like after this this blockade, or after the Mavi Marmara, like the United Nations ruled the blockade an illegal form of collective punishment.
Sure, it might be, but I think it's important to get, because if there was some kind of sea blockade from 2005 to 2007, then that's one thing. But the blockade that people complain about isn't the sea blockade. It's the incredibly stringent requirements of what goes in and out of the Gaza Strip via the control of that fence. Right.
Which they clamped down more on 2007 after the coup.
That's what I want to know, because that's an important. The line of those facts, or the timeline, is very, very, very important on that.
See what
Oh,
that
why?
like is saying.
Why does it only go in the
Israel's sea
horizontal
blockade of Gaza is
axis?
legal,
That's
but the attack
so
on
annoying.
Mavi Marmara
when I
was
nudge it.
excessive. Israel's sea
Stupid.
blockade of Gaza is legal, but its attack on a Turkish ship trying to break it last year used excessive force, according to leaks of a UN report.
I'm glad he had that, because I've got a source already, because goddamn do I read things. 53 and 54.
In evaluating the evidence submitted to the mission, including by OPT, confirming the severe humanitarian situation in Gaza,
You know
the
what?
destruction of the economy and the
No,
prevention
I'm not
of
doing that. That's stupid.
reconstruction as detailed above, the mission is satisfied that the blockade was inflicting disproportionate damage on the civilian population in the Gaza Strip.
Alright, so what I was
and that as
thinking
such,
of doing,
the
but I'm not going to do it
intersection
because I'm going to let Destiny shut up, Destiny. What I was thinking of doing is running this entire thing parallel to the road underneath it. But then when I get to that turn, I'm going to have to do some weird stuff to make that turn work, and I didn't feel like doing that, so we're not going to do that. We're just going to turn off here or whatever. Yeah. Perfect. Oh, please tell me that this goes on here. Okay, all right. It's centered, even though it doesn't really stick, but yeah, it's centered, which is all I really care for. Oh no, that's gonna be... Oh, that's gonna suck. Oh. That's basically straight. Okay, let's go. Alright.
And therefore has to be considered illegal. Moreover, the mission emphasizes that according to Article 33 of the Convention, collective punishment of civilians under occupation is prohibited. No protected person may be punished for an offense he or she has personally committed. Collective penalties and likewise all measures of intimidation. The mission considers that one of the principal motives behind the imposition of the blockade was a desire to punish the people of the Gaza Strip for having elected Hamas. The combination of this motive and the effect of the restrictions on the Gaza Strip leave no doubt that Israel's actions and policies amount to collective punishment as defined by international law. In this connection, the mission supports the findings of the Special Rapporteur on the situation of human rights of the Palestinian territories occupied since 1967. Richard Falk, the report of the United Nations fact-finding mission on the Gaza conflict, and most recently ICRC, that the blockade amounts to collective punishment in violation of Israel's obligations under international humanitarian law. So it seems like the blockade would be under international law condemned. But when did this blockade start?
I mean, it's the same blockade. Like, it's just they continue to escalate the blockades. They
Well, wait,
started in
hold on.
2005.
When you say it's the same blockade, but they escalate it, that's not the same, right? They're like, I'm just curious, like, what's escalating, because that might be really important. It might have been a horrible thing since 2005, or it might have been a thing that escalated into something illegal in 2009. I'm just curious what the...
2007 is when they really clamped down on it.
Yeah, but 2007... Destiny, when is this from? My article's literally right after the flotilla was intercepted in 2011.
That was a report released in 2010.
This is in 2010. Why is this saying the sea blockade is legal? What is Mark Weiss? Why do we know this person? Do I know this person? Why do I know this name? Weiss? Am I crazy? Mark Weiss? I don't
Yeah,
know
you
this
are
person.
crazy,
I feel like I've heard
Destiny.
this last name before. Hold on. What am I looking for? Internet Archive. Barry Weiss. Oh, that's what I'm thinking of. You're right. How do I use this website? I suck at using this site. Me. What do I need? Archive websites? This? Okay. well, no, because there could have been changes. We'll grab one near 2021. You're getting a GA bullshit resolution as proof. What do you mean a GA? What's wrong with General Assembly resolution if it's voted on? What do you mean?
It's by the Human Rights Council.
Eliu, I don't know why you would say that in YouTube chat. Okay, let me read this article. According to findings of a UN commission headed by Geoffrey Palmer, a former New Zealand Prime Minister. Oh wait, 9 Turkish activists died in May last year when the Israeli Navy stormed the MV Mavi Marmara, which was leading a flotilla of vessels to Gaza. According to findings of a UN commission headed by Geoffrey Palmer, a former New Zealand Prime Minister, leaked in Turkey and Israel, the military operation was premature and the deaths unacceptable. However, in what Israel is already hailing as a vindication, Israel was only asked to express regret and not to apologize. Turkey is also criticized for not doing enough to stop the flotilla and for its links with IHH, an Islamist group, which helped to organize it. The report also concludes that the blockade of Gaza is not illegal and that Israel is justified in stopping vessels even outside its territorial waters. When he set up the Commission of Inquiry last year, Ban Ki-moon, the UN Secretary General, expressed the hope that the panel would help to prevent similar incidents in the future and would also contribute to improving the strained relations between Turkey and Israel. Turkey withdrew its ambassador to Israel following the flotilla incident, but there are clear indications that with the region in turmoil, both sides are now keen to get relations back on track. Israel has lost a key ally in the Egyptian president, Hosni Mubarak, while Turkey's attempts to build relationships with Syria and Libya have collapsed. GA resolutions are not legally binding. They're not the same as Security Council resolutions. Okay, I don't know how common it is that you always have a Security Council resolution. Oh wait, well actually resolution, no.
And we're not making the argument about whether or not...
Resolution 242, these are security, most of what we've read are security. But okay, but that doesn't make Lycan's point incorrect, but okay. So, Turkey, okay, so hold on. So it seems like you are, not you, I'm sorry. So it seems like there are, what, are there points where like the blockade is legal and then the blockade is illegal, or?
I haven't found anything that says it's legal.
Okay, hold on. In 2010, UN General Assembly report? What would I call this? Report from the Human Rights Council.
All right.
Declared on line 54, you said?
53 and 54, yeah.
53 and 54.
Oh, shoot.
Declared.
Oh, shoot.
Blockade in Gaza to be collective punishment or legal under international law. Okay, what is this this Telegraph article? What is it citing here when it says findings to a UN commission headed by Geoffrey Palmer? So UN Commission Geoffrey Palmer. UN Commission Geoffrey Palmer. Marmara.
Ah, okay. Oh, I can do the center of the road because nothing travels through the center of the road. Yeah, perfect. Actually, no, that's gonna bother me.
Download. Report of the General
Oh, that's
Secretary's
perfect.
General Inquiry.
Oh,
Who's
that's
the
so
General Secretary?
perfect.
I don't know
All
about
right.
the structure of the UN. I wonder if I should learn this at some point. Treatment of passion. Okay, how to avoid some instances, future interactions. Okay. The situation in Gaza. Directly make every border rotation by minus consequences. So she continues efforts to ease restrictions of movement, disclosure, to alleviate the unsustainable humanitarian and economic situation of international relations. Security Council Resolution 1860. 1860. Is this specific to Israel or English? A Security Council resolution. Recall. Oh, we're in relation to 242 and everything else. Just in Gaza. Emphasizing grave concern. Full withdrawal of Gaza. Causing mid-provision distribution for Gaza. Humanitarian assistance. She was aimed at. Alleviate humanitarian. all violence and subjects. Member states anticipate efforts to provide arrangements carrying Gaza or in Gaza in order to sustain durable ceasefire and calm. Suspending the Palestinian Authority in Israel. I'm so curious about the status of the legality of the blockade in Gaza. Legal? Illegal? International law? Would they say that in a...
Okay, that looks like it's connected.
Secretary General
We'll just keep it like this. I think this is okay.
The flotilla incident on the
Yeah, that
2nd of
works.
August
Whatever.
2010.
Whatever.
He reports the detailed national investigations conducted by both Turkey and Israel. Turkey established a national commission of inquiry to examine the facts of the incident and its legal consequences, which provided an interim and final report to the panel along with the annexes and related material. Israel provided a report of the independent public commission that it had established to review whether the action taken by the state of Israel had been compatible with international law. Let's see. The panel finds, the fundamental principle of the freedom of navigation on the high seas is subject to only certain limited exceptions under international law. Israel faces a real threat to its security from militant groups in Gaza. The naval blockade was imposed as a legitimate security measure in order to prevent weapons from entering Gaza by sea, and its implementation complied with the requirements of international law. So this guy's basically saying something different as the other.
All right, sweet.
Report. What is the date of this? Okay. Sorry, I'm almost on this. I'm so sorry. Okay. In September 27th on September 27th, 2010, and this is on May 23rd, on May 31st, 2010. No, wait. This is September. This is also in September. Oh, this is in September of 2011. Sorry. Okay. September. September of 2011.
Oh shoot! We're using frickin'.
What would you call this?
I ran out of biofuel. Damn. Shoot. How am I supposed to get back up there now?
General's panel of inquiry on the 31st May 2010 flotilla incident and blockade followed international law. It looks like this. This was 20. Okay.
Do we have any more biofuel?
Okay.
Oh yes, yes. Oh yes, we do.
For my debate with Finkelstein, and really just to know the general is going to be.
There's something it'll take a bunch of source grabbing for me, but if you're going to argue with them on that, there's some additional stuff around.
Nice. Now we have plastic coming.
Oh,
the tractor! No.
I guess the conditions for whether or not something you just read.
All right, respawn tractor. You got this.
Just make a note, liking to provide this.
On.
Come on now. Come on now.
Okay.
Are you gonna spawn back?
And I'm saying later rulings because I can't remember what it was called.
You are so lucky that you found this most valuable artifact.
Okay.
Oh, are you out of fuel? Oh, you're out of fuel. Damn. All right, there we go. Now it'll respawn.
Election happens, and I start talking about regime change. And
all right, tractor, do your thing.
America sponsoring the election, being involved with it. It's very anti-democratic for us to then say, "Oh, well, we didn't like the results." So
okay. All right. Just took a nice little elevator ride up here.
Yep, it'll probably bring it up.
Okay, smokeless powder. Smokeless powder. Now that I fixed the whole plastic issue.
Gaza.
Or excess plastic issue.
Yep.
Well, I'm actually not done with the excess plastic issue yet. I need to...
Do you want me to watch this, or should I?
Now, these little things don't even matter anymore. But I'm gonna delete a couple of these.
So the context of it is that we're talking about regime change.
Autosave.
And I'm saying that because we had an involvement in this democratic process, because we were validating it and all that stuff, we didn't have the right to then come in and be like, oh, well, we don't like this, so we're going to go ahead and try to fucking, foment the takeover from the Fatah.
Oh, okay. Let me read this. I'm just going to read this.
There we go.
Okay.
We don't need.
Legislative elections were held in the Palestinian territory.
We don't need a bottleneck of empty canisters just sitting on this thing.
Council, the legislature of the Palestinian National Authority. The result was a victory for Hamas, contesting under the list name of Change and Reform, which received 44.45% of the vote and won 74 of the 132 seats, whilst the ruling Fatah received 41.43% of the vote and won 45 seats. The newly elected PLC met for the first time on the 18th of February 2006. Incumbent Prime Minister Ahmed Khoury tendered his resignation on the 26th of January 2006, but remained interim prime minister at the request of President Mahmoud Abbas. On the 20th of February,
I don't want to delete all of it. I just want to keep a little bit.
Was nominated to form a new government. The new government was Haniyeh as prime minister. Was sworn in on the 20th of March. These were the last contested elections to be held before Hamas took over the Gaza Strip in 2007.
Smokeless powder.
Since. The 2006 elections were the second elections for the PLC. The first elections took place in '96, but the subsequent elections have been postponed for many years due to disagreements between Fatah and Hamas. March of 2005, 12.
So we've been slowly getting smokeless powder. Yes, yes, we have.
Elections to be held using a mixed voting system.
All right, so we're gonna make a tractor because we don't need a truck bringing 40 per minute from one base to another.
Is this where you said this only happened because you said Bush was making them do it, or
no? It was in 2007.
Okay, we're getting okay. In June of 2005, the PLC legislated to give effect to the Cairo Declaration.
Oh shoot.
Pretty important topic. Okay, elections in Gaza. In the Gaza Strip. Okay. The 2006 elections, the second set. Palestinian,
out of fuel.
Cairo,
out of fuel. This one,
Declaration
I should actually do something about that.
Elections to be held using a mixed voting system. In June 2005, the PLC legislated to give effect to the Cairo Declaration, increasing its membership from 88 to 132, with half being elected by proportional representation and half by plurality at large voting in traditional constituencies. Palestinian voters in both the Gaza Strip and in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, were eligible to participate in the elections. Earlier, the 2005 municipal elections on the 9th of January.
Which way do we go in?
2005 presidential.
Oh, we go in through this way. All right, that makes more sense.
And then these things are for city factions. This is for all of the second set of elections for the PLC. This is for all of Palestine. This is for all.
All right, we're gonna make a track line.
Gaza Strip as well, not just
do a nice little recording.
Right. That was my understanding that after the coup, Hamas only had control of Gaza.
The PLC elections were originally scheduled for the 17th of July 2005, but on the 9th of August, Abbas announced that they would take place on January of 2006. On the 20th of August, Abbas said election day is the 25th of January. On 15th of January 2006, Abbas declared that despite
we gotta load
the election date unless Israel prevented
load
Palestinians
tractor
in East Jerusalem from voting. Israel had already stated that it would not allow campaigning in East Jerusalem by Hamas, which had carried out the majority of terror attacks against Israel in the previous 5 years.
Yes, we're getting
refused
stuff.
to
Good.
recognize Israel or the Oslo Accords. This was the second Intifada, and then the refusal to recognize Israel.
Shoot! I gotta redo that.
The Islamic jihadists were fighting against the Palestinian Authority or the PLO in the Gaza Strip. I remember this, and they were trying to figure their shit out. The United States spent $2.3 million in U.S. aid on support for the Palestinian elections, allegedly designed to bolster the image of President Abbas and his Fatah party. U.S. aid's offices used discretionary spending accounts for various projects, including tree planting, schoolroom additions, a soccer tournament, street cleaning, and computers at community centers. U.S. aid removed its usual branding requirement on its sponsored activities. As a result, the U.S. is accused of trying to influence the outcome of the elections. The European Union supplied election observers to assess the whole election process, including the legal framework, the political environment and campaign, electoral preparations, and voting and counting. Okay, let's say under U.S. aid, the U.S. spent $2.3 million in support for Palestinian elections. Some claim that this was an attempt to influence the results. I'm curious what. Okay, this is the electoral system. I don't think we care about this. We don't need this right now. Campaign, we don't care about this. PLC was dominated by the Fatah movement, which held 68 of the 88 seats. However, Fatah had been beset by internal strife with younger and more popular figures like Mohammed Dalan, who took part in the negotiations of the 92 Oslo Accords, and Marwan Barghouti, serving 5 life sentences in an Israeli jail on terrorism charges, leveling allegations of corruption against the Fatah leadership. Fatah organized primary elections to determine its candidate list, but the results were disputed in centralist composers and areas. The younger faction submitted a list of al-Mustaqbal, the future, headed by Barghouti. However, on the 20th of December 2005, the leaders of the factions agreed to submit a single list of voters that will to reform the Islamist Hamas movement campaign. I'm going to read every single thing. Israeli obstruction.
Okay, you're going way too slow.
On the 26th of September 2005, Israel launched a campaign of arrests against PLC members. 150 members of Hamas were detained. Mostly those involved in the 2006 PLC elections.
Alright, so we're going to go into this one.
The election period, 15 PLC members were captured and held as political prisoners. During the elections, the Israeli authorities banned the candidates from holding election campaigns inside Jerusalem. Rallies of opinion.
Right, there's nothing connected to this, right? Yeah.
Carter Center, which monitors the
Yeah.
elections.
Okay, so this will be smokeless powder. Nice.
More than winning a parliamentary seat in an open and honest election. We have atmosphere, exit polls. President Hamas is expected to win a majority. Should change some else. Independence and reactions. The National Democratic Institute in partnership with Carter Center reported a professional and impartial performance in election officials. The European Union delegation reported there was nothing which would indicate the final result was not the outcome chosen by the voters. A CRS report for Congress because 6 elections concluded. The election was overseen by 17,200 plus Democratic observers, complemented by an intervention. Bush administration said the outcome praised the Kiev ruling for elections, counting the result. Elections will be free and fair. Lost in a large majority. Boom, boom. New government happened. After the kidnapping of Israeli soldier Gilad Shalit in the 25th of June 2006, Israel launched a series of raids in Gaza and the West Bank. Israel destroyed civilian infrastructure and arrested dozens of Hamas supporters, including elected cabinet ministers and members of the PLC. On the 20th of June overnight, the army invaded Gaza from airstrikes, bombing infrastructure such as bridges and an electricity station. From moderate members in the West Bank who have been calling on the Gaza leadership to organize Israel and make Hamas. Israel can destroy the Hamas-led Palestinian Authority. Information government and sanctions. Economic sanctions are imposed by Israel and the Quartet of the Middle East against the Palestinian force of nations and international supra-international entities involved in the Israel Palestinian peace process, the UN, the US, the European Union, and Russia.
Hold up. What was the... Was it like 6? Shoot, I forgot. I forget how many seconds these tractors use.
To press Hamas's exclusion from the election process. Abu Mazen, Abbas was confident Fatah would win the elections, as with Bush.
We'll just do 8 seconds, whatever.
Prime Minister and his cabinet resigned even before the final results were officially announced. Fatah refused to join a new Hamas-led coalition. President Abbas asked Hamas to form the next government. On the 26th of January 2006, Fatah leader Sayyid Erekat said his party did not want to join a Hamas government. The Fatah Central Committee decided that Fatah will not join the next government, but said it would depend on President Abbas. On the 20th of June 2006, Hamas declared it would form a government of technocrats if the government of Fatah all the political groups not possible. On the 9th of January 2006, PLC deputies from Fatah confirmed after talks with Abbas that their faction would not join Hamas in coalition government and would prefer to sit in opposition, despite calls by Hamas for a political partnership. The was, however, not discussed and ratified by the government of Fatah's second party dominated the Palestinian for decades. Okay. Fast forward after months of just post-election impediments. Just okay, we're almost done. Just for the January 2006 election, Hamas should not be going to participate in Palestinian elections. Such organizations are references to stakes. Authority chose to ignore this external decision. The Palestinian Authority, President Mahmoud Abbas has favored an unconditional acceptance of Hamas electoral participation, believing that it could co-opt Hamas within the Palestinian political fold. Oof, yikes. The New York Times reported in February 2006 that the United States and Israel are discussing ways to destabilize Palestinian government so that newly elected Hamas officials will fail. Elections will be called again. The intention is to start with the Palestinian Authority money and international connections to the point where from the
I gotta delete these notes.
Okay.
Bro.
Right. Okay.
I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I'm like, why is it not being deleted?
So I mean,
I'm
not
alright, so now
nothing's being wasted. This is good shit. We need to know this.
All right.
Okay. Okay. So then your issue is that after this election, what were the claims that you were making? I should have written this.
So what I ended up saying is we were talking about regime change, and I said because like the U.S. was involved in the democratic process, we kind of lose the right to do our monkey shit.
Okay, so now that we have
And you're saying
Smokeless
that we don't-
powder, and the game is saving and freezing up.
I will link you a bunch of shit.
Or just like the one thing, the big thing.
Well, next I gotta get that other book out. Hold on.
Okay.
We can now actually start
it's not
doing
trying to
the
get it in chat.
actually utilizing the smokeless powder. Oh, nothing.
Lex Friedman, I'm excited you're doing this debate. Do you want to do it in person on my podcast early next week? Since the Shapiro debate is supposed to generate, we can do it in Miami. Either way, can we do what, the Finkelstein debate, Lex?
Are you trying to get me on your show, buddy?
There we go.
He's been after me for a long time.
If you want, you can shoot me a text. I don't know if he travels for debates or what that is. But
Oh, that would have been really bad. Almost spilled my stuff.
U.S. plotted to overthrow Hamas after election victory.
There we go.
Bush administration caught up with surprise.
Smokeless
Hamas embarked on a
powder.
secret
Nice.
project for the armed overthrow of the Islamist government in Gaza. It emerged yesterday. Vanity Fair. What is the date of this article? 2008. Vanity Fair reports in its April edition that President George Bush and the Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice signed off on a plan for the Palestinian President to remove the Hamas authorities, and the plan called for Anxious Allies, the region of funnel arms and salaries for Fatah fighters would lead a rising against Hamas, but the project was controversial even within the administration. The magazine reports there were several fissures among neoconservatives over this. We're ripping each other to pieces. Wormser resigned his post in the Vice President's office in January 2007, only weeks after Blake Lynch got the Hamas Fatah led the Muslim leaders to control the territory. That was such a coup by Hamas, but an attempted coup by Fatah that was preempted before it could happen. He said, Bush administration had sought to continue the results of the election last night, which, to the chagrin of the White House and Department officials, Hamas project was approved. The escalation also was seen as an affront to the central premise of the Bush administration policy in the Middle East. Democratic elections would inexorably lead to pro-Western governments. Did this plan actually get implemented?
All right, smokeless powder
Was this
is
plan
now
actually
at the
implemented?
base. Now we just need to figure out
I know that people are aware of it. 55.
rifle ammo.
57.
All right.
123.
So that's made it in the assembler. Or so let's see. So we got 40 per minute, and
Administration.
I'm not sure if I'm going to need smokeless powder for anything else. So I guess we'll just use
And resources.
Let's use
And
half of it,
resources strip.
because it makes 75 per minute rifle ammo. Yeah, no, we'll just use 10 per minute, because like 75 per minute rifle ammo is
Please Google
insane.
Santorini
That's
affair
gonna
and
stack up
Torini
real
affair.
quick,
The
real fast.
blockade on Gaza happened because of many weapons smuggling incidents.
And then we just need copper sheets, and that's 15 per minute.
Like
All right.
And it's a fucking image, so you can't control F it.
Oh, steel. Steel. Oh, steel. Okay, we'll fix the steel situation later.
Is this another UN resolution, or what is this?
This is the report that was done.
Secretary General of the United Nations, Special Coordinator for the Middle East Peace Process. Soon after the elections, Hamas expressed its desire to establish a broad-based government. Reactions in Fatah were mixed, but before the idea could advance any further, the U.S. made it known that they wanted Hamas to be left alone to form its government. We were told the U.S. was against any blurring of the line dividing Hamas from those Palestinian political forces who ended the solution. Abu Mazen soon made clear that Fatah members would not participate in a Hamas-led government. The U.S. reportedly also sent unequivocal signals to independents who had been approached about joining the government that they would be ill-advised to do so. In this event, Hamas formed a government that included some independents largely dominated by Hamas. This naturally facilitated the continued quarantine of the government, aka the Hamas government. Before going on, I want to stress that in effect, the National Unity Government, with a compromise platform along the lines of Mecca, might have been achieved soon after the election. In February or March 2006, had the U.S. not led the quartet to set impossible demands and imposed a NUG in principle, At the time, and indeed until the Mecca agreement a year later, the U.S. clearly pushed for a confrontation with Hamas, so much so that a week before Mecca, the U.S. envoy declared twice in an envoy's meeting in Washington how much I like this violence, referring to the near civil war being erupting in Gaza, in which civilians were being gravely killed and injured because it means that the other Palestinians are resisting Hamas. Please remember this next time someone argues that the Mecca agreement, to the extent that it showed progress, proved that a year of pressure worked and we should keep the isolation going. On the contrary, the same result might have been achieved much earlier without the year in between it, in which so much damage was done to Palestinian institutions and so much suffering brought the people of the occupied territory instead of a policy that didn't work, which many of us believed from the outset wouldn't work, and which I have no doubt is the best short side. Okay, well, let's leave day solo before it.
Oh, shoot. Whatever. You know what?
Okay.
We can bring it all the way down to ground level.
You can cut through this conversation pretty quickly. Do you think that Israel or U.S. are justified in seeking regime change after Hamas won elections? Keeping in mind Hamas was indeed democratically elected, but was already an international terrorist that didn't recognize Israel. I don't even know what like the international rules are relating to like militant or terrorist groups winning elections. Like, I feel like I would lean towards no. I don't think you can intervene in an election because you don't like the outcome.
The right to self-determination protected under international law.
That's not entirely true. That's like, we're bastardizing that quite a bit, right? The right to self-determination to what, like launch nukes at enemies? Like, I mean...
No, the self-determination, I think as far as it goes to run your own government and to build allegiances and things like that.
Yeah, but there are still restrictions by which that government can operate, right? Like, we would never feel like that.
Hold on, to be clear, because they're going to take it as I just said something crazy. I'm talking about when it comes to running your government.
Well, yeah, but like clearly the problem isn't like the party that was elected. The problem that the U.S. has is that they feel like a terrorist group has won the election.
You know, Hezbollah has 13 seats, and this is something I should have said before. Hezbollah has 13 seats in the parliament, and I think they have since 2003 in Lebanon. I mean, if they were to get, 20 seats, 60 seats, 70 seats, would that suddenly give us justification to violate their sovereignty?
Well,
there's no action being taken.
I have really,
they just win the
again, my
election.
current understanding of Lebanon is shallow at best. But my understanding is, doesn't Hezbollah already violate the autonomy of Lebanon? Don't they basically exist there as like a de facto like autonomous government that like the Lebanese government is too weak to do anything about?
Yeah, sounds about right. But I'm saying like, just because they have that election, like, does that give us the right to take action?
I mean, I think it give us the right to take action if they elect a terrorist group. I don't know, fuck. I would need more historical situations to draw from. I'm not sure.
I'm not saying any of these questions are easy. I just think that there are...
I'm trying to think, because like, the gut feeling I would have is that it's not right to take action against the government, but it would be right to take action against bad government action. So if they elected like a terrorist group as part of the government, you can't coup the government, but you could attack the country or do sanctions or embargoes if the government did something bad. But I don't know if you can just attack the government directly. I'm not sure. I lean towards no on that. Replace Hamas with Al-Qaeda or ISIS? Same question. Or we could just do the Taliban in Afghanistan, right? But we have the right to attack the Afghanistan into perpetuity because we don't like the Taliban. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, comparing ISIS is a little different. ISIS wants a global caliphate. Hamas is a slightly different organization. And I think I'll use this moment to say, would you agree that it's prudent to understand all historic actions when it comes to both Israel and Hamas and the P&A and all that when contextualizing, things that lead up to certain events?
When contextualizing things that lead up to certain events, probably, yeah, it's helpful.
So it's probably not Hamas sympathizing when you want to point out situations where Hamas did X or didn't do X versus Israel did X versus didn't do X, right?
Well, I mean, whether or not somebody's a sympathizer depends on how the facts are being presented, right?
Sure. But I don't think I've ever presented it in a way that is sympathetic. I think I heard Lonerbox say, I don't know if he was referring to me, maybe someone else, but it was the day after our conversation. It's talking about people framing Hamas's peace next.
Oh man, I want that homing rifle. Like all this rifle ammo is just gonna turn into, well, okay, not all of it, but most of it's gonna turn into homing ammo because it does slightly more damage and it literally auto homes to enemies. So it's just easier to use and stuff.
And you and I disagree on this, but when I point out that
it's like a no-brainer to use, honestly.
2014 was the only one found to have, by the definitions used by the UN, to have used human shields. The point I'm making isn't that what Hamas does is bad, embedding in civilian areas. It's that Israel,
autosave.
People often say the human shield line to handwave the high civilian death count. And the point is that if you're embedding in civilian areas, it's still bad, but the onus is on Israel to not take disproportionate action and to still be mindful of those. So it's frustrating, it sucks, but you still have to do that.
Wait, what was the point of that last statement?
Is that in combat situations, when you have an enemy embedded in civilian areas or civilian structures with civilians around, you have to evaluate the threat. There has to be a strategic, specific goal to tackling that target, and your the method of attack to neutralize that threat has to take into account the civilians that are there. You can't just disregard them.
Sure.
So I don't think I'm saying anything unfounded there, am I?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So
like if there was like a Hamas like one AK-47 stored underneath the school with like 20,000 students, whatever evaluation you're using is probably not going to allow you to bomb the school.
Right.
But also, I'm not sure if the lives of your soldiers, I believe you're allowed to factor that in as well.
Nope.
No?
One of the rulings in the Goldstone report was that it's understandable that you want to minimize, like, for instance, we will bomb military targets before we go invade, right? Like, we'll bomb anti-air batteries, we'll bomb weapons caches, whatever. But we do that still with consideration for the civilians and whether or not we give evacuation. Like, we have aerial reconnaissance, we have satellites, we have drones, etc. So people start moving weapons, fuck it. We'll follow it and we'll nail it. That's part of warfare.
Consider your soldier lives when evaluating civilian targets.
And to be really clear, hold on, so you know I'm not reading anything. What I'm saying is that you factor that in, but you cannot transfer the risk of to your soldiers onto the.
All right, so this is going to be the next annoying thing. High-speed connectors, 2.5 per minute. Now, in order to make high-speed connectors, we need.
Or less casual.
We need a manufacturer, which means we need more than 2 parts. Yeah, high-speed connectors, 3.7, so we can actually like lower that to.
Death counts are not
what do we need?
Part of any of this analysis in any way, so I should perform.
2.5. All right.
Like you can figure out like I'm just curious if you can figure out, because by your own admission, the death counts could be fully justified. There could have been enough military targets under everything, right?
No, not necessarily.
So we need 25 per minute. A lot of quick wire.
You just said not necessarily.
We're not using a lot of deuterium, so there should be a good stock of quick wire.
I'm not saying necessarily. I'm saying.
And we only need 2.5 per minute circuit boards.
Right? We
so.
need more information.
All right.
Right. It could be the case that Israel, given full access to their military archives,
I don't feel like, wait, actually, maybe I should make circuit boards again.
Or it could be the case that 100 of the deaths so far have had good justification and over 10,000
copper sheets and plastic. Oh, no.
No idea. And just pointing at death.
That's too much logistics. Yeah, we're just going to steal it.
So where do you want to start? Like, we're over 11,000 dead. Most of those are going to be civilians. You know,
I know they're underneath here.
I mean, if you look at the previous operations, even if you go by the, here's the thing, even if you go by the Israeli numbers, it still supports my point, which is that when ground forces invade, less people die.
Why are we not?
Have you ever done an invasion of this level before, though?
It's the plastic. The plastic production.
I mean, they might have put more troops in there.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, Cast-Led was what, 53 days, something like that?
In Cast-Led or in any of these other invasions, was half the population evacuated prior to the invasion?
All right. How many? How?
Okay, it sounds like they haven't. Okay, so
the biggest displacement of people, 1.4 million, I think it is.
Yeah. So then this is clearly the largest one, right?
Mm-hmm. But I'm saying without displacing those people.
All right, 7.5 times.
Israeli soldiers, I think in Cast-Led was 10. Protective Edge was 66.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4,
as far
5, 6, 7.
You know, civilians on the Palestinian side.
7 times 7.
Civilian-wise.
7 times 5 is
much
35.
higher.
So it's.
So I'm saying
okay, that's a lot per minute.
30 days at 11,000 people, and I will give you a 70.
How much do we need? 14 per minute.
70% civilians with the way they're
14 per minute. Okay, so we're making way less. All right, so if we increase
air and land, we're
all right,
fired.
we can steal it. We can steal circuit boards.
5 days in,
We're
city.
plastic
One of the most
deprived.
heavily populated cities. So I'm saying city
Okay,
specifically.
I understand everything you're saying. It's just everything you're saying.
And then I linked the statistic from the United Nations saying that 44% of or 45% of civilian homes
I understand
have been
everything.
damaged or destroyed.
Yeah, I understand everything you're saying is inductive at best, right?
I think I'm making a pretty good case.
You can say
when
that,
they
but it's all inductive at best.
when
Like
they go inland, that they
you're
don't lose
continuing
that
to
many.
make inductive statements, right?
Okay.
I'm saying it could be the case that the civilian death
Do you
toll
think
is
I'm
really high.
okay? Inductive. Fine. Do you think I'm saying anything crazy?
Crazy, no. But
You
I'm
think
saying
I'm-
that you're making it sound like you're making deductive statements. Like it must be the case that like the civilian casualty thing is way higher than it ought to be. But we just don't have access to that information. That's what I'm saying is inductive at best. Like you can say like, I mean, it looks like there's a lot of civilians dying. It could be really bad. But like both of us, if we're being honest, both of us should have to admit that there are documents that could come out that would make it so like 95% of the civilian deaths are unjustified, or like 95% of the civilian deaths are justified. But we don't have that information, right? We can't truly know that. And I think just guessing based on the past death amounts or whatever, I don't even know. Like here's the thing. Like if I were to guess based on the past death amounts, the incursion into southern Israel, right, where I think it's 1,200 Israelis were killed, right? Should I be
About the 7th?
What?
Are you talking 10-7?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should I guess that Israel's lying about the number of civilians and the number of soldier deaths are way higher because traditionally in these conflicts, like soldier deaths are higher than civilian deaths?
Well, no, because we trust the Israeli numbers, and it's like, okay, cool, like 304, something like that.
Sure, but then in that case, that's a case where past death ratios have had no predictive power on the October 7th death ratios. They're totally different.
Because I'm talking about, yeah, so that was a surprise attack. A mixture of years of planning and security failures and all that led to 10-7. So we have that atrocity that happens, but I'm talking about in the history of incursions into Gaza, we have evidence of when it is a ground invasion, primarily a ground invasion, or not, this many days of bombing, because usually what they do is what normal militaries do, which is bomb some strategic targets, take out weapons caches. I think maybe it was 2012 or 2014, they levied a significant, 75% of Hamas rockets, so they had the intel on where they were, they took them out, and then they go in. But the point is that in those 4 operations, the number of civilians and Palestinians that died were still high, but there were not 11,000.
No.
Some of those battles went on longer than the current, we're at
Yeah,
5
you
to
keep
6
saying
weeks
that
now.
days have gone on longer, but there hasn't been a military operation this extensive so far. My understanding is nothing is even.
I would rather just break the window and have it like that.
If you
now
wanna
that I
find
know that
a
it
map
exists,
of, like,
that's crazy.
Castlet or whatever.
I didn't even realize that
find
was
me,
an issue.
Like an incursion map or whatever. Into this. My understanding is the current invasion is by far the largest one into the Gaza Strip. It probably since.
Oh shoot! Like, wait, we're not getting any plastic now. What's going on here?
On the 27th, when the first ground troops started to go in.
Okay.
Like again, it's the bombing campaign.
Yeah, but you
That
don't know if
method.
those are justified, right? You have no idea.
The justification is going to depend on, again. So it's about threat. It's not
Oh
just
no!
you can't just.
That's why we're basically out of plastic now.
Right? You don't know where munitions are. You don't know if there have been munitions stored in these places or if Hamas.
We rolled up weapons caches. We blew up weapons caches in military areas. We blew up weapons caches after we evacuated Fallujah. We call in airstrikes on those, but we do what we can to.
All right, so circuit boards are going to be coming on that line. We'll just assume that for now.
When Israel tried to save
And
civilian
enough for
lives, people
2.5 per minute, at least. So we need to make cable and quick wire.
Isn't that consistent with you
Wait, how
saying
much-
that it's the
how
most
much
densely
cable?
populated place on the planet? Shouldn't you want to
25 and 140 per minute. Let's do quick wire
So when
first.
Israel tries to evacuate the civilians, the civilians don't evacuate. But I'm just saying that your prior argument saying, well, we evacuated Fallujah. Well, Israel ostensibly tried to evacuate northern Gaza, but that apparently was an ethnic cleansing.
You have to not just say evacuate and then you set your timetable. It's like, well, oops, they didn't all get out.
But they did. They not only did they set the timetable, wasn't that timetable pushed back weeks because the U.S.
For the
pressured them to
first
do it?
one, for the 24-hour warning, yeah, because the UN came out and said you can't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would they have done that if the UN hadn't said anything?
I have no idea. My guess is probably not. If it took external pressure to make them do it, but I mean they did, right?
Let me make the output connector. Okay.
Ground invasions, not this many civilians die. I think that's a reasonable point. You can say it's inductive. You can say, well, we don't know what those military targets are, but again, the things that factor into whether or not a military target can be targeted with civilians in the area or in the target itself is going to be an immediate strategic necessity towards, I think it might be, so I'll say this part might be bullshit. I think it's towards ending the conflict, but that could be wrong. But I will say still comfortably, you have to take into account the civilians that are there. And so with 45% of civilians being taken out, 100 in something medical facilities, 200 in something schools, yeah, I'd say that's why I say indiscriminate, disproportionate. Because look at the threat before. Look at the number of, you know, the efficacy of rocket attacks before that. Look at the number of IDF that die when they invade in other attacks. Like again, 10.
Yeah, but again, nothing has been on this level, right?
Sure, but I'm saying that still with Hamas being in Gaza, that being their
I think I'm gonna increase the interval of autosaves because like every time it autosaves, I just gotta sit here and be like, let's wait 10 seconds.
But again, still in comparison, way more Hamas died, and you can't transfer that risk of your soldiers. That's the other thing is, IDF deaths are very, very unpopular in Israel. I don't know if the Region 10-7 thing has changed that view, but they're always very, very careful about incurring IDF death for that reason. But again, you can't transfer that risk onto the civilian population.
Yeah,
there we go.
I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm just saying that without
all right, the output is now there. So this is where all the
like a pretty like unique
all of the
and I don't think
I guess ammo and ammunitions will be going to
again like
go to the storage.
IDF always
how many bombs have been dropped on like past
I'm about to overload the storage though.
Has it been remotely near this number?
No.
Okay, here's a guess I'm just gonna make. Have the number of bombs dropped during this incursion already been greater than all the other incursions combined?
I would say, without looking anything up, absolutely.
So if that's the case, right, then we're already in unique territory, right?
Yeah, but again, like, I don't think it's unreasonable with the amount of damage that has been done to say that it's been disproportionate and indiscriminate, because we're assuming that, again, like you said yourself.
But how are you making this statement without access to any of the military data?
Because it's a civilian area.
It's not a civilian area if they're being used as military.
No, like you said, just because you have an AK in the basement doesn't mean that you can go ahead and bomb it, right?
No.
And that's
hold on, wait, no, wait, hold on. Okay, let's get our argument straight here, okay? Let's say that there is a hospital, okay? And there are no soldiers.
Oh, so
there is no calculation.
I guess we don't have that turbo fuel ammo yet. Okay, that's fine.
You're not allowed to do that. I'm pretty sure it's considered a war crime. However, if that hospital has weapons that are stored inside of it, or ammunition, or soldiers that are actively taking part in combat, if that's the case, well, now that has changed from a civilian target to a military target. Now, for military targets, you still have to do the collateral damage calculations, but it becomes a valid target at that point, and now it's up to you militarily to justify the importance of attacking that target.
Okay.
You know how we took care of weapons caches in civilian areas? With the convoy. We rolled up on it and we did the raid. I'm sorry, to be clear, I wasn't in front chat, so I don't want to sound like it.
Wait, what does that have to do with anything I just said?
Because you don't just get to bomb it. It's, again, it has to be proportional. So in civilian areas...
Hold on, so you're telling me right now, if I look up U.S. incursion into Baghdad, into Iraq, and Afghanistan, at no point did we ever bomb munitions caches? We always rolled up a combat?
And rewind it before chat starts thinking that you just got me.
Okay.
I said usually before you go in, you do bomb certain strategic known targets.
Okay.
And those are going to be
That's
the ones...
That's a cluster thing, right?
Yeah, but isn't that
cluster noblesse,
right
yeah.
Bomb some stuff and they're going in and they're raiding other things?
The number of bombs and structures destroyed. Bombs launched, structures destroyed.
Oh, okay. So I need to research it before I can actually put it into the smart splitter.
A significant amount of disproportional forces.
And these are yes.
Rolled up after a certain point by people on foot.
Okay.
Or strategic airstrikes after people verify, validate, warn. Like that's the other thing. It's like it will take time to be humanity, to abide by civilian law.
I don't care about wasting it.
They take time.
Nice.
Don't just come in and blast it all.
I want that homing ammo. Alright.
Okay. I totally disagree, but I don't know. I think we're stuck on that. Or we have to go. Or what's the next one?
So do you want me to just go over a bunch of stuff and you can take notes and research it? And this is shit Finkelstein's gonna bring up.
Yeah, if you want to, sure.
Alright, so 2008 to 2009, you have he'll bring up that if you go into that in any depth, he'll bring up that on November 4th, I think it was, 2008, Israel breaks the ceasefire. They do that by raiding I think just airstrike tunnels on the Gaza side. And they say
Doesn't matter.
those tunnels, I believe the phrasing was, could have been used to abduct IDF soldiers.
Okay.
They'll also argue in favor of the tunnels and say they have a right to self-defense, that Israel does not have a right to use violence or use force to maintain the illegal siege or the occupation.
I'm like, why can't I connect?
But that
Can I
Gazans
connect that?
do have a right to self-defense. Let's see. Oh, and not just self-defense, but he will also argue like they're allowed to be offensive because you are allowed to resist your occupation. What else? So that ceasefire gets broken. Hamas starts firing rockets. Minimal damage. I think maybe one person died. And then Israel invades, and that starts Operation Cast Lead.
Okay.
And then you can look up the death numbers. You can make your case about it. If you want to fight on trusting the United Nations and the human rights organizations, that's fine. Cast Lead happens. There is a ceasefire and agreement to
Perfect.
lift the blockade or reduce restrictions on the blockade. That happens 3 different times between Cast Lead and Protective Edge. Only on, I think, Protective Edge were there stipulations about the security situation improving, but otherwise the other 2.
You said 3 times blockade conditions lifted?
3 times there were ceasefires that had an agreement to reduce the blockade.
Okay.
The third one required security stipulations, but at no point, my understanding is at no point were any of those blockade restrictions ever lifted or reduced. He'll argue about if you want to talk about the Mavi Marmara, you can read more about it, but documentation issued to the what do they call it? The commandos before they did the boat raid just said, hey, these people are bringing aid, and they're just a pro-Palestinian group. But in the media, they came out and said they alleged these folks were affiliated with a terrorist organization.
Why couldn't all those things be true? That they thought that they were just
Why would you not tell your troops the night before? Or
well, like what if they found that out afterwards after raiding the boat?
There was no evidence of it.
Okay, wait. Can you link me where you're sourcing this from?
Yep. You really should just read this book. It's a 5-hour read, and then you can find them on everything there.
Wait, well, it's not a 5-hour read. It's gonna be like a 40 or 50.
Well, yeah, if you do that, yeah.
Oh shoot, maybe I should, because I'm gonna make high-speed connectors. I should probably just overdo it instead of just having all of it go direct. Yeah, I should
send it to you.
All right.
Yeah, copy paste.
Because it's a Kindle book.
Oh yeah, I have blueprints for buildings.
Fucking hand type everything.
What is this? This is from Finkelstein's book?
Yep.
IHH, which was alleged to be a terrorist organization or accused of being close to a terrorist organization. The intelligence terrorism information are conspicuous. Maniacally described as a Turkish pro-Palestinian human rights organization for Muslim orientation, provides so we have conspicuous among the passengers and organizations aboard the Mavi Marmara were Turkish and Arab Islamic extremists. IHH. Yes, okay.
All right, I think we're gonna be super heavily limited on quick
Is
wire.
this some fucking... Is this like a Israel fucking... fucking operation?
2.5 so what about 6 per minute? What does that
I'm
look
guessing
like?
this is like an IDF website or something, I guess.
Or
an Israeli government site. Okay, paragraph 2, 9. Okay, the flagship was launched along with 2 credits by extreme Turkish IHH, played a key role in the extent operation. The IHH ordered someone from board of the ship in Istanbul without ongoing security check. For those who are the most active assailants in the violent primitive confrontation with IDF,
alright.
control 5 other ships as well as without
So
2, 9, and
56.25. Okay. Yeah, I think I can handle 5 per minute circuit boards.
Employing extreme violence while paying lip service to non-violence. Often made a point of reserving his pro-peace and human rights act. Mission was like I just plan to prepare for violent confrontation. Just for violent behavior. Apparently, most human rights actors, including those who joined the IHH coalition, were not aware of the high-level violence action during the voyage. However, we have proof that an internal FGM document
Autosave. Alright.
Considered that the only way for Israel to stop the use of force, the organization will work very scenarios for surrounding the ship on bars, stringing the decks of sharp obstacles, and having activists barricade themselves in the wheelhouse and engine room. The low object violence was far below that of organized violence regarding the IHH with the use of guns. However, it was contrary to protection against activists, which unequivocally forbid the use of any form of violence. Aggression. Apparently open wide. And then you're saying that
Encased industrial beams. I think the issue with that is steel. Yeah, steel.
So IHS was denially described as a Turkish pro-Palestinian human rights organization. Provides humanitarian relief in peaceful conflict.
Okay. So the only way to connect it is to go around this way somehow. Yeah. Or we can just go all the way over here to the edge and then make our way that way. Yeah, that should work. Yeah.
Military strategic information. Is this the pamphlet for official use only? Is this the packet that was handed out?
I don't know what that's saying.
Military strategic information, 5 pages for official use only, May 27th, 2010. On April 28th, the Free Gaza movement. Is this in fucking Hebrew? Oh, wait, it's not. The Free Gaza movement and the Turkish IHH organization announced that it intended to sail a flotilla to the Gaza Strip on May 24th. The state was later delayed into the state of flotilla, dubbed the Freedom Flotilla, to bypass existing humanitarian aid channels to make port in Gaza Strip, despite Israeli maritime restrictions which exist in the region. This is the 4th flotilla launched by this organization. The flotilla consists of 8 or 9 vessels, including 4 cargo ships. 60-meter wide boat, 63. Also includes the Mavi Marmara, a 93-meter long ship carrying number of small other yachts. The exception of boats to rendezvous south of Cyprus, continuing towards the Gaza Strip, and the weeks leading up to this, political demands were made in order to clarify the shouted out that supplies can be transferred to the Gaza Strip through the existing channels. As per the interim agreement signed by the Palestinian Authority, an agreement supported by the sea subject to naval control on Israel is entrusted to maintain security in the area. In accordance with a mutually accepted agreement, the entry of foreign vessels in American areas off Coast Guard forbidden, such as focal points. The Gaza Strip is controlled by the Hamas, a hostile terrorist regime close by Israel. Stop the international law and goods on board and the transport after via the existing land channels. A similar offer has been proposed. Control F.
All right. Damn, so we need 300 per minute of this? Okay.
Organizations. The flotilla is comprised of 3 major
And we need 50 per minute of this. Okay, so we can do...
International human rights organization.
Don't I have an alternate recipe for...
With the intention of providing additional humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip, IHH, a Turkish pro-Palestinian human rights organization with a strong Muslim
I feel like I do.
The IHH is a non-governmental organization that provides humanitarian relief in areas of conflict, and the European campaign at embassy from the relevant. Okay. Israeli vilification focused on Mara passengers belonging to the sponsoring Turkish group IHH, which was
No, I
alleged
don't.
to be a terrorist organization which is having close links to terrorist organizations, the Intelligence Service Information Center.
Okay. All right.
Okay. This was published on, was this after the ordeal?
2010.
2010 in September? 26th?
Hey, we can get our 50 per minute,
This was in May.
60 per minute. Yeah, why not?
What is this supposed to prove? It feels like what he's trying to say here is that Israel knew that this was a benign set of ships, and then they did a raid, and then they made up a bunch of shit afterwards? Well, what happened during this raid?
And then the rest of the commandos, they nursed him. They fed him, all that they did. And yeah, it was a huge international incident because one of the people was a Turkish American. I think one of the people that was killed was.
So they claimed they were armed with iron bars and knives. According to flotilla organizer Greta Berlin, the Israeli soldiers did not survive until an actor seized a gun from one of them. That was a flotilla organizer. During the struggle, 9 actors were killed, including 8 Turkish nationals and 1 Turkish American, and many were wounded. 10 members who died in hospital camp for 4 years. Jesus. 10 of the commanders were also wounded, 1 of them seriously. According to a UN report, all activist deaths were caused by gunshot. The circumstance of the killing of the suspected was consistent with an extra-legal, arbitrary, and summary execution. The 5 other ships of the flotilla employed passive resistance, which was suppressed without major incident. According to the UN report, several of the passengers were injured and one of the legs was fractured. Okay, so hold on. Just to
Perfect.
understand some things leading up to this. So one,
Cool. All right.
there was already a blockade, correct? The blockade, it seems like, was mutually recognized by Israel and the Palestinian Authority, correct?
I don't know if the PA was.
I think that was said in here. As per the interim agreement signed by the Palestinian Authority and Israel, an agreement supported by the international community, the sea of the coast of the Gaza Strip is subject to Israeli naval control, and Israel is entrusted with maintaining security in the area. In accordance with the mutually accepted agreement, the entry of foreign vessels into maritime
need
areas
copper, I'll
off
just
the coast of Gaza is
steal
forbidden.
it from
So
right
it seems
here.
like the PA and Israel agree to that.
Sure, but again, the report that you read earlier at the start of this said that where they enforced this was not legal. They were not allowed to go out, like what you do is you disable the rudder, you tow the ship, you don't land commandos on it. And
Yeah, but it sounds like they only did that because this one ship wasn't cooperating. No?
Oh, but I mean, again, you still don't get to use the force. But the force, you don't get to use force.
Wait. How else would you do it?
Well, I'm not a seaman, so I wouldn't.
Well, but like if there's
tell
a
you.
ship that's headed in a direction and you tell them to stop and they
Ship
don't you have
not
to use...
known to be an enemy ship, not posing any threat, and was the blockade. So as far as Israel is aware, from evidence we have, they knew.
Oh my God.
It was just a humanitarian aid ship.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, hold on, wait. You're mixing a lot of stuff. Number one, it doesn't matter if it's a humanitarian aid ship. They still have an agreement to scan every vessel that comes in.
I need
Number
120
one.
Say that again.
We have,
wire.
or I'm sorry, I keep saying we. Israel has a right to investigate every single ship before it docks into Gaza. This is an agreement that's supported internationally and it's supported by the Palestinian Authority. Do we agree with this?
I would say before it got sure.
Well, not sure. It's yes. That is the agreement that's set up. There's a specific blockade site, correct?
I mean, I don't know the processes. I don't know the procedures, and I don't know at what time in getting close to those waters. My understanding is international waters where they were intercepted.
All right, so I need 120
I mean, I
wire,
can
right?
check where exactly they're intercepted, but it says in here that Israel has intercepted other things before without issue.
Sure.
And they had moved those supplies. Yeah. Apparently, so they say, they had already suggested other ways to ship these supplies in without having to use ships, but they ignored because they claim they're activist ships. Okay, so we agree that the blockade existed and was legal. We agree that Israel has the right to stop these ships then?
Wait, no, I do not agree with the blockade was legal. They can agree to it all they want, but Israel does not have the right to enforce that blockade.
Okay, so do we need to find out, like, international community? Would that change your opinion on this at all, or no?
I mean, if the, I mean, I'm going off the report that was done in the post-investigation after this incident.
Well, yeah, but to be fair, that report, that wasn't like a whole statement analyzing, like, whether the blockade was legal or illegal. That was like point 59 of like a thing where they're like, we feel like this blockade is not legal, right? That wasn't like a legal entity making like a huge investigation.
Again, yeah, they're not legal entities, but they're experts in these laws. Like, they with the authority to make those judgments, the wrong word, because we're talking about a legal, like, ruling.
Well, so, okay, there are several probes into the incident. This is the one we read. A UN HRC report on September 10 into the incident deemed the blockade illegal and stated that Israel's actions were disproportionate and betrayed an unacceptable level of brutality with evidence of willful killing. United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon announced a parallel probe in August of 2010 by a four-member, it's a South Korean politician. Announced a parallel by a four-member panel headed by Jeffrey Palmer. The Palmer report was published on the 2nd of September 2011 after being delayed, reportedly to allow Israel and Turkey to continue reconciliation talks. The report found that Israel naval blockade of Gaza was legal and that there were serious questions of the conduct, true nature, and objectives of the flotilla organizers. The report also found that the degree of force used against the Mavi Marmara was excessive and unreasonable, and that the way Israel treated detained crew members violated international human rights law. So, okay, so it seems like my guess is going to be that if a UN HRC, if this report was saying that the blockade was illegal, there was probably an agreement that it was legal before, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't like have that be a question. That's an assumption.
No,
I could be wrong.
I think it's that my understanding of the incident is that it forced them to make an assessment of it because of the.
Well, there must have been some international assessment prior to this, because blocking like free travel through maritime waters is a big deal. You can't just do that. So there must have been some international community statement on. Oh, legal assessment of the Gaza flotilla raid. Okay. Any legal assessment was published subsequent to the event. International law experts on it deferred over the legality of the action of Israel. Of course, necessary to respond.
Right at the okay.
Okay, I'm not necessarily interested in just this event. I really want to know about just the blockade. Approximately 1 year after the event, the UN Investigative Committee for the 22 Flotilla Gaza concluded that this is the one. This is the second one that we read. Some law experts said that the naval blockade, the boarding international waters, and use of force were in accordance. Thanks, Mokanari, for the tier 4 server, buddy. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, the International Committee of the Red Cross, National and Istanbul, Bilgi's University Law Department, and others concluded the blockade was itself illegal, or agreed with the University of Dundee International that the boarding of the high seas was illegal. The UN Charter requires the nations avoid the use of force when settling external conflicts, and human rights be respected with regards to internal conflicts. Nations which use force in self-defense are required to immediately report these measures to the UN Security Council. Has condemned Israel's blockade of Gaza on numerous occasions, calling it a direct contravention of international human rights. This is the United Factor on the Gaza conflict. This is the this is the Goldstone report. Do you not have to like register a blockade with the UN or some shit? You just do it and then wait for complaints?
There we go. 120 per minute.
Shipping interdiction.
Copper stuff coming into this thing. It does the thing. And we got the wire. Sweet. Now all we need is the quick wire. So we got the cable. Now we need the quick wire. Nice.
Jesus Christ. Is there nobody that makes a decision on this? Everybody just disagrees? Or
if you don't go to the ICC, I have no idea. My understanding is that bodies like the UN are experts in international law, and they don't make judgments, they make assessments based on those standards and the evidence provided.
I was just curious if there's like a clear-cut answer of like, is the blockade legal or illegal? But wow, super white dope. Thanks for giving 102 on subs. Jesus shit. Christ. White names being slaughtered. Okay. Okay, let's see if we can agree on some facts. So there were there was an interim agreement signed by the PA and Israel that allowed them to search ships coming off the coast of the Gaza Strip, right? Israel says that they issued an advisory notice to vessels to remain clear of the design maritime zone. And then it seems like they made announcements to these 5 ships. It sounds like they investigated 4 of them just fine, but one of them decided to put up a resistance. And then at least one of the activists said that one of the flotilla organizer, Greta Berlin, I don't know if we trust her or not, I guess. She's an anti-Zionist activist, so she's literally anti-Zionist. She says that Israeli soldiers don't start firing until an activist seized a gun from one of them.
All right.
Which
so
part
we need
of all
what,
of this do you have
315
issue
per
with?
minute?
I mean, my biggest issue is just
Yeah.
that
All right.
they
It's time to do some math.
the summary executions thing. Like I before I read this Wikipedia article, I read the
Divided by 4.
report where that came from. So I knew about that.
6.
Sure. I think we can all agree.
All right,
that
so we
if
need
there were
6
summary executions, these are really bad. Or you should never be doing this. Yeah.
The other was that pretext for boarding it.
63
was,
per minute. We could get away with 5 and just overclock one, but I'll just do 6 and not overclock any of them.
Or say anything.
Yeah.
But my overall issue is that it was
Each manufacturer produces 60 per minute, so we just need this number to be lower than 60 per minute
could have been handled in a different way.
to handle the
I
350
don't
per
understand
minute.
what the other solution
All
would
right.
be.
Again, so I
We need 6.
if it gives any credence to the fact that when I'm talking about like airstrikes and all that, I speak where I feel I have some knowledge to do so.
Yeah.
As far as maritime, I can't give you an alternative.
Sure, but I feel like if we're going to be heavily critical of what seems to be like the action up to, assuming if the summary executions happen, there's no excuse for that, but it seems like up to that point, everything is pretty justified. You're in waters, you're entering waters that are blocked. You're not supposed to be here. We're going to do an investigation because you're not supposed to be here. We try to do an investigation of your ship, and then you fight with us. Like, it seems like up to that point.
You could say up to that point, but then afterwards the UN rules they didn't have a right to do that.
Wait.
It's in that report. I have. Hold on. I'll link it to you again.
Damn it.
I have it. You said they didn't even have a right to board the ship?
I think it's 53.
Control F. Line 53. In evaluating the evidence submitted to the mission, including by OCHAOPT, confirming the security humanitarian situation in Gaza.
52, sorry, you got
52. A blockade may not continue to be enforced where it inflicts disproportionate damage on the civilian population. Usually damage to the civilian population. Okay, so this is just them disagreeing with the blockade, though, right? It's not really them saying they, like, assuming they have a blockade that they all agree on.
12 per minute. All right,
Yeah, I
wait.
guess I'm not sure what other thing they were supposed to do. Like, you're saying that nobody does this. If I had to guess, I could be wrong.
72 per. Okay.
Nobody does what,
All
sorry?
right. I think.
Nobody does
I think.
what, sorry?
I
It sounds
think
like
I'm
you're saying
making
nobody
enough
would, like,
deuterium
board a vessel in this
ingots
aggressive
to
manner.
support
If
this.
if
And not
I was-
using
if I was trying to sail
all
to
of
the
it,
United States on like a
hopefully.
speedboat,
Hopefully.
and I had like a covered boat, and the Coast Guard tried to stop me, and I kept going. My understanding, I could be wrong, my understanding is either 1, they would try to aggressively board my vessel, 2, they would try to destroy it or disable it, or 3, I would get blown the fuck up. I would never make it all the way to the U.S. coast. Am I
If
wrong on
they
that?
don't know what you're doing or anything like that, and it's in the U.S. and all the other laws that are applicable, yeah. But if you know that it's a peaceful flotilla bringing aid supplies, and you're
Well, but they don't know that. Why would they know that?
Again, to their troops, they were saying this is a
I'm listening to this.
people bringing aid.
Well,
I
that's
like
what
how-
the orgs were that were running the boats,
like-
but they don't know who else might be a part of that, right?
Let me find something.
Destiny literally gives like a perfect example of why he doesn't understand why this is a thing that's supposed to be like a thing, and he uses a good analogy to actually like make it more understandable. And I'm like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And then the other guy's like, well, no, and I'm like, wait, it's not reasonable? What are you talking about? That was a really
These are the
good
three
point
major
Destiny made up,
organizations that were on the boat, right?
or just spouted.
Because it's not like anybody sailing in is going to say like, "Hello, I'm a terrorist bringing terrorist supplies."
No, of course
right?
not.
Also, keep in mind, people want to block U.S. aid making these same accusations, right? I remember I don't remember the names. In Bolivia, once Morales was kicked out, I think the other leader, Guido, that we were kind of trying to support, I think the United States wanted to send in U.S. aid through Peru or through Chile. And I thought that they blocked it because there's like, if USA trucks come in, you guys can smuggle weapons or whatever. So I don't even think that's outside of the norm, where people don't like want to investigate, or where people are trying to like look through like aid trucks and shit.
Sure.
Oh no, sorry, fuck, that was in Venezuela, not Bolivia. You're right.
Like, my issue is innocent until proven guilty, and like the boarding with the commandos. Like, again, what did they have to think they needed to take that action?
They weren't complying.
They weren't complying, but again, when you brief, like when you say, hey, we're dealing with this, like now, unless there's something else missing from what I've seen, when they were briefed, it was these folks are a peacenik organization bringing in aid to people in Gaza. I haven't seen anything that says, in addition, and again, I haven't seen the entire packet, so.
No, but the briefing, assuming it's the briefing is fine. What's wrong with this briefing?
Does it say anything about potential terrorists,
no
threats, or anything like that?
Not really, other than like terrorists could import stuff, but what about it?
Yeah, I mean, then at that point, if you're not dealing with a known direct threat or like high suspicion of threat, critical intelligence that's saying there very well might be on this fighters, weapons, whatever. And again, doesn't the thing say
auto save?
Either that, the Wikipedia, it says they might have wrenches and some shit like that.
Okay, what about
like it's like, again, so we're gonna put armed commandos, the most elite, I think.
I would bet, honest to God, I would just bet my whole life on this without even knowing anything. Maybe I would just be killing myself. I think if I tried to sail a boat into the United States, the exact same thing would happen. You're telling me that like
the United States, yes, you were an unknown entity, but they
these guys were. No, even if I was like they had like
they're an unknown entity.
Thing that says like Red Cross.
Like it's the same
humanitarian aid boat, and I was like flying into or driving into the U.S. in my boat, and I wasn't responding to like any sort of naval calls or anything, and I wasn't identifying myself or anything, and I just wanted to drive this into like a port in like the fucking Manhattan Harbor or something.
I haven't read anything that they weren't replying or anything like that.
Well, of course they were. That was the whole point.
To comply.
Well, that's the same thing, right?
Right, but again, like proportionate force, right? Like you're walking down the street.
Everyone keeps doing this retarded proportionality argument. Like, I don't. What do you mean? Like, if someone's trying to do sneaky stuff and go into your like country, like, bro, we're supposed to just worry about proportionality? No. If someone's invading your house and they only have a knife, and they only have your fists, and they decide to like take your house out, are you gonna be like, oh, we need to be proportional, so I shouldn't grab my knife or my weapon to attack this person? I should just use my fists and go after them. Like, proportionality does not. Who cares? They're invading your like place, and you have no idea why they're there. So like, it's stupid. It's just stupid. Such a stupid argument. In any other sort, the only reason people are arguing this is because it's Israel versus Palestine. That's the only difference.
Shoot me, right?
They'll point their guns at you. Yeah. Will they fucking blow your head off? No, they're gonna fucking blow you up.
If prior to 9/11, before they put up all the crazy barricades at all the military bases, if I would have driven my car through the gate onto a military base, you don't think MPs or whatever?
If you're in Iraq and you just start walking
in the United States,
I'm saying like in Iraq, if you're walking up, I never worked a base security.
Okay. My parents might just like be talking shit. I could, but like I'd always been told like if you try to like drive into a base, you're not
before
like
gets fucking clipped. I have to fucking clarify it. So again, I've never worked gate security in America. So I don't know what they fucking do if you were just walking. I'm not talking about driving, barreling up to the front gate. I never worked front gate.
Actually, I know exactly this. I know exactly what they're talking about. I had to drive into military bases because I used to do a job that required me to do that. And you needed ID, you needed everything. You couldn't just drive up and just barge in. You had to go up, they had to search your car, and then you go in. But even if you had like people in your car, it only could be you. It only could be you. So yeah, I don't know what you like. Okay, all right, that's true.
So
that's 100% true.
Escalation of force for that. What I know for in Iraq is, yeah, you don't fucking comply whether you're on foot or whatnot. It doesn't matter how peaceful you are. You ignore that command, you're gonna get fucking shot.
Yeah, but it seems like so this would be the same thing for a boat. If I'm driving a boat into somebody else's waters, and I'm especially blockaded waters or embargoed waters, whatever, and I'm getting requests like, hey, we need to investigate your vessel. You're not like registered or you haven't gone through the proper inspection, and I rated you back, and I say, suck my dick, bitch. I'm getting rated.
Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot.
Hold on.
I feel like so obviously, yes, I'm getting rated or exploded. That'd be my thought. Yeah, go ahead.
Good faith conversation. What level of crime is it if you drive into the waters in America?
Like drive my car into waters?
No.
Now he's trying to look up some sort of justification. Are you serious?
I don't know what the crime would be called. I don't know. I have no idea. Okay. What happens if you tried to sail into U.S. harbor without identifying ship or vessel?
There we go. Because I just realized that I'm producing way more than the 270 per minute
Land, no country would
for
allow you
the
to
tier 3
call.
belts.
Tried, your ship would be seized
This actually
and
needs the
held,
tier
probably
4
the entire
belts.
crew held in the brig until the ship was claimed and registered in a proper fashion. After they paid the fines, dock charges, and other costs associated with the seizure, this may not apply to vessels that are escaping refugees, but the ship may be held at bay and not allowed to enter.
Perfect.
So I assume that. Wait, hold on.
Perfection.
One thing I know they can
Let's
do is
go.
like disable your rudder and shit like that, right? So I imagine that these commandos were on a boat.
All right, so
if they were just
what we
dropping
need
the
to do
hose,
now,
again,
because
what paid effort are they doing to like seize and tow the boat, right?
What is this making? This is making
That might be like
oh,
is that
high-speed
like a whole other
connectors.
thing? Is
You
that-
disable the rudder and then you fucking tow the boat. You don't attack
At
them. And even what you just read right there
5.6
was,
per
like, you
minute,
will be-
yes,
Your
yes.
boat will be seized and you will be,
And then
whatever.
Seizure of your boat means that they're boarding you.
Sure, but they don't have to use violence to do it.
Yeah, they are.
what?
They're
How
literally
are you?
invading my property at that point?
No, I'm talking about they don't have to use commandos. If they,
I know, I agree they don't have to use it, but they didn't
if they
use violence.
boarded-
Wait,
They boarded the ship and they just took the boat over
Mm-hmm.
and nothing else to the people. It wouldn't have been an instant.
Yeah, but the problem is once they got on the boat, one of the people reportedly tried to seize one of their guns.
Right, but then we're gonna follow that through. That person gives that comment, and again, like you said, anti-Zionist, like pro-Palestinian. But then the UN report finds evidence that there were the gun wounds in like 6 of the people were that of summary extrajudicial execution.
Sure, yeah, that's bad, but that's way after. At that point, we can say this is bad if this happened, for sure. But that's way after everything else. I feel like the boarding of the ship, the using commandos, like all of this shit, I feel like was 100% legal, like or legal or permissible or
Justified.
9 dead.
Wouldn't that be a better word? Or not justified. Freaking like reasonable.
Bro, Mike, seriously, bro? I don't have the fucking Jewish Shinigami eyes that are supposed to let me fucking decipher all 12 pixels of this video. 1 minute mark. Okay. Timestamp it, you fucker. Well, now I'm watching the whole thing.
I hope they're not saying anything that I can't. Whatever. We'll just listen to it.
I'm assuming this is IDF soldiers moving across? Are these like people that are... Mike, I hope you actually are. Wait, are these people attacking the IDF, or are they just all IDF? Soldiers being hit with metal poles and chair. Oh, okay. Oh god. Okay, this is my Cancer Nebraska brain is taking over. I feel like if I did this to a cop, I feel like I'm trying to die. Like this is like I'm gonna die. This is my feeling, but we're just watching, I guess. I don't know.
Just watching.
Throwing soldier overboard.
Yeah, this is all like just normal, right? That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to just throw people overboard. That's reasonable. And zero justification for going aboard or whatever they're trying to argue. I forget what it was like specifically called, but I remember the genuine
Okay, now this could be fake evidence, to be fair. We don't recognize things.
Oh, for the blockade and stuff like that, yeah. Yeah, I think the whole argument is this, was it justified for Israel or the IDF to board that ship that was completely ignoring?
Okay, actually, I want to see that UN report now. Can you link me? I'm curious now what the evidence was for summary executions. Well, here's Pyrex and
there we go. High-speed connectors go there.
all right.
Now they go into the base, so now we're actually making high-speed connectors. We just need to refill that tractor with fuel.
Okay. Reports of the International Fact-Finding Mission to invest. Oh, this is the one? Okay. Control F. Okay. The report sets out back. Oh, God. Okay. Hold on. I'm just gonna. It's 8 o'clock. Let's go. Hold on. Okay. 66.
I'm like, why am I not driving? Because game's auto-save.
This report was prepared by the fact-finding mission established by the the Human Rights Council, right, the UNHRC, in Resolution 14.1 of June 10th, or June 2nd, 2010, to investigate violations of international law, including international humanitarian law and human rights law, resulting from the interception by Israeli forces of a humanitarian aid flotilla bound for Gaza on the 31st of May 2010, during which 200 people were
you're
killed
also
and
dead?
injured. Any others injured. The report sets out background information regarding the interception flotilla as well as applicable international law. The fact mission included interviews with more than 100 witnesses in Geneva, London, Istanbul, and Amman. On the basis of this testimony and other information received, the mission will reconstruct a picture of the circumstances surrounding the interceptions on the 30th of May 2010 and its aftermath. The report presents a factual description of the events leading up to the interception of each of these 6 ships on the flotilla, as well as the 7th ship subsequently intercepted on the 6th of June 2010. That's 9 passengers and many others. Attention, report contains legal analysis of the mission, including a series of violation of international law, including international humanitarian human rights law committed by the Israeli forces during the interception. Control F.
Wait a second. What?
Execution.
Why do you? Why are you still full with resources? You shouldn't be.
Actual legal arbitrary and summary executions. Okay. The circumstances of the killing of the 6 of the passengers were in a manner consistent with an extralegal arbitrary and summary execution. Furkan Dogan, and Ibrahim Biljan were shot at near range while the victims were lying injured on the
I just realized why that thing is out of fuel. I need to fix this base first before I actually...
While not participating in activities that represent a threat to any Israeli soldiers. In these instances and possibly other killings on the Mavi Marmara, Israeli forces carried out extra-legal, arbitrary, and summary executions prohibited by international human rights law, specifically Article 6.
Oh. I knew it. I never finished this. Okay.
Fuck. Wait, hold on. Does it have more information about this? Injured passengers received wounds from critical areas of the body and vital organs. Passengers who were clearly not engaged in any activities to resist the boarding by the Israeli forces, including a number of journalists and persons sheltering from the fire, received injuries, including fatal injuries. It is apparent that no effort was made to minimize injuries at certain stages of the operation, that these live fire was done in an excessive and arbitrary manner. It is difficult not to conclude that once the order to use live fire had been given, no one was safe. Under the circumstances, it was a matter of pure chance that there were not more fatalities as a result. That's a really interesting sentence. Principle 5 of the basic principles on the use of firearms for law enforcement purposes: whenever a lawful use of firearms is unavoidable, shall exercise restraint as such use minimize damage. Jesus. Okay, wait. I'm asking you in terms of this paper. And maybe there are more.
Oh. I had a little bit of deja vu. I was like, wait, I thought I connected this to the base already, but I didn't. That was the refinery base. Shoot.
That's the paper that you're reading right now.
Oh. Okay, you want me to read 32 to 36?
I'm gonna take laundry out when you read those.
From mid-2008, in response to the Free Gaza movement's attempt to enter Gaza by sea, the Israeli government took serious steps aimed at initially at deterring shipping from traveling to the area. A notice to mariners was issued stating that all ships entering the central zone under supervision. Then in August 2000, a second notice was issued. The maritime stands 20 miles.
No, that diagonal nonsense that I did over there is gonna be. Ooh, it's gonna be annoying to set up. Oof.
32 to 36.
Mega oof.
In his testimony to the Triple Committee, Chief of General Staff Gabi Ashkenazi accepted that the phenomenon that was in mid-2006 represented the trigger for the imposition of a maritime disclosure, although he outlines that it was done for security purposes.
All right, I'm gonna make a.
General Avicii Mandelblit also stated that the justification for a naval blockade
There we
was
go.
simply grounds only. However, plans for a full naval blockade were initially not approved at the political level on grounds of legitimacy and the possibility of what Mandelblit described as severe criticism at the international level. Shortly prior to
Just making a platform so I can actually like route this easily without having to fly.
Advocate General, the Defense Minister, who directed the imposition of a 36. It was established by Israel on the 3rd of January 2009 and announced by the Israeli Navy on the 6th of January. The advisory states that the Gaza maritime area is closed. All maritime traffic is under blockade imposed by the Israeli Navy until notice. This advisory is publicized enter Aliyah, and a further notice to mariners and through other channels. It was also publicized twice daily on the Navtex broadcast system, regularly updating shipping, quoting to location via direct printing service. Chief Military Advocate General Mandelblit stated this blockade was approved at ministry level by the state authority without involving military legal advice. Senior Israeli officials have stated that the base of the blockade was 1. The San Remo Manual, 2. The London Declaration, 3. Customary law, and the existence of an armed conflict between Hamas and Israel that had continued after Operation Gas Led. The military closure order was signed by the commander of the Israeli Navy on the 20th of May 2010, prohibiting persons entering a specified closed area referred to as Area A, and advising all ships and persons to stay away from the dangerous area referred to as Area B. But according to testimony said the mission is not gazetted. The order announcing the blockade gazetted. What does that mean? Like there's like a fence set up, or what does this mean? Announce or publish something. Oh, they didn't like publish something. Okay. So the mission not gazetted. The order announcing the blockade was presented by the representative of the state in a hearing on the extension of detention of 4 Palestinian Arab citizens of Israel with the provision of base the application was in violation of the
This is gonna be very annoying to set up. Oh
Did we already read
man.
these or not?
I think there might be some overlap, but I just...
Considering, okay, the law of naval warfare on the question blockade. Considering the issues, okay. I don't know why this report is even making a ruling on this. I don't know why they even entertain this. It seems weird, but it's nice to set the exclusive jurisdiction of the flag state under international law.
Aye. Alright. Well,
Treaty. Other exceptions would include acts of self-defense. Okay, wait. Under these international policies,
it's gonna look a little weird, but I don't.
activities, piracy,
I don't
safety,
care too much now.
Ships suspected of lacking nationality in case where permission to board and inspect have been given either ad hoc or by treaty, e.g. those related to narcotics smuggling. I've suggested that the United Nations Convention on the law of the sea, reserving the use of the high seas for peaceful purposes, has effectively outlawed acts of naval warfare on the high seas. First, it should be noted that Israel is not a part of the convention. Second, the United States has long position during the debate on the convention, not acceptable. I'll also support the view. The law of naval warfare continues to be potentially applicable on the high seas. One attempt to clarify this law was the independent expert study, the San Remo Manual on International Law on Conflicts at Sea. While not authoritative, its codification effort has had a significant impact on the And then 51 to 54 on the commerce, where they define enemy coastline, belligerent established. For a sole purpose of starving the South population, the population, okay. 54. A blockade may not continue to be enforced if exposure to the population. Evaluating the evidence submitted to the mission, including by from the severe humanitarian in Gaza, the destruction of the economy, and the prevention of reconstruction. The mission is satisfied the blockade was just okay, this is just saying that they don't believe the blockade is okay. And then 56 to thus, if there's no lawful blockade, the unlawful basis for intercepting the vessel would be a reasonable suspicion that it was making an effort, contribution to the opposing forces' war effort, or pose an imminent and overwhelming threat to Israel. There's no alternative but to use force to prevent review of the information. An interception. Not feel motivated to the vessel to use more effort. The mission satisfied. Okay. All right, what do you want me to take from
I mean, my
this?
takeaway is that they had no cause to intercept the way they did. My understanding is that the people on the flotilla have the right to resist. So between those two things, yeah, it's an incident that shouldn't have happened. And I mean, there is also the fact that the Civil Commission that Israel apologized, paid the families, and said they were wrong.
Okay, whether or not they apologize and pay the families, so they're
Sure, you
wrong.
could say it's pressure and all that other stuff.
Sure. Well, I'm just saying it doesn't. So this, I just.
Maybe you and I just have different interpretations.
Well, wait. Well, let me give my interpretation, okay? So my first interpretation is I have no idea why they're even making a statement on this particular blockade when the two nations have already agreed to one another that the blockade is fine. The Palestinian Authority and Israel had already agreed.
Because Israel has certain laws on their books that they've said we're not going to, or certain international humanitarian laws that they don't codify in their books, but they're still beholden to internationally. So
Yeah, but there is no international law that's clearly being broken. The entirety of this report.
Wait.
What? Well, no. Well, I just read it. I can tell you. The entirety of this report rests on them rejecting the idea that, or rather embracing the idea that the blockade is inflicting collective punishment. That's the entire purpose of that line in that report. And once they've said that, so this is what 56 says. They said, thus, right? So in the preceding points, what they're trying to prove is that the blockade itself is just collective punishment. That's the whole point of enforcing the blockade here, is the sole purpose of starving the civilian population. Blockade may not continue when it inflicts disproportionate damage, so they try to make that ruling here. Then they say, thus, if there's no lawful blockade, now the only way they can block that ship is if it's sailing in with a ton of guns, or they had good intelligence as is holy shit, this thing is kind of thing. So if you reject the idea that any blockade exists, at that point, I think I'd probably have to agree with you, because why the fuck would another country be intercepting ships in my waters? That would be the equivalent of, let's say, me driving a boat illegally into Canada, and then the U.S. intercepts my ship when I'm up at fucking Montreal. I don't know if there's a lake there or whatever. That would be crazy. And Canada would rightfully say, well, hold on, you intercepted the ship, what the fuck, that's not even your waters, blah, blah, blah. But this entire document rests on them saying that the blockade was illegal, despite the fact that the Palestinian Authority and the Israeli government had signed an agreement agreeing to the blockade, and it had already been enforced. So if you want to take that position, then that's a position you can take. But absent that position, I'm pretty sure every single thing, save for the summary executions, if they happen, save for that, is probably fully justified. Do we agree with those two things as laid out like that, or no?
No, but give me a second. Ships on the flotilla boarded, and yes, no, because it was in international waters this took place, and they are bound and protected by the state under which their flag flies, which is Turkey. So in that area, they had no right to intercept them.
Let's see. When this says that they were in international waters, are they saying that international waters, are they disagreeing with Israel's assertion that it has a right to board things 20 miles off the coast? Or were these ships further than 20 miles off the coast?
6 ships in the flotilla were boarded in international waters about 80 miles from the Israeli coast.
Gotcha. Okay, so then
that doesn't even, depending on where the map location overlaps with that blockade region, I don't even know they were even in the blockade region at the time of their interception. But regardless, they were in international waters and under the protections of the Turkish flag and the laws of international waters, whatever they're called.
Gotcha.
International maritime law.
So then is your whole argument then, would it change if they were in that 20-mile thing? Or is it solely based on the fact that it happens in international waters?
Let me think. So my understanding is that they're allowed to, even without the ruling about the legality of the blockade, is that they are allowed to resist.
Oh wait, I'm so sorry. Say what you were going to say. I'm sorry.
I was going to say they are allowed to resist boarding. Predicated on the ruling.
Well, that would be predicated on, because I'm asking, let's say they were within those 20 miles. Would you then change your whole position on this? Is this only predicated on them being in international waters?
Well, that, I guess, me agreeing to you there is if I agree with that their ruling doesn't mean anything, their analysis doesn't mean anything as far as whether or not the blockade was legal.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
blockade is illegal.
why do you agree with their analysis that the blockade is illegal, but you disagree with the next UN General Secretary investigation that said the
That's what
blockade?
I said I'd provide you sources on.
Okay.
There are a few tests that have to be, I don't want to bastardize it, but there are a few tests that have to be made as far as whether or not that ruling stands.
Turkle Commission. Okay. You said the Turkle Commission here says something for you?
I mean, that was Israel. I think Israel's internal investigation. How do you spell
Public
Turkle?
Commission to examine the maritime incident. Jesus. Let's go to page 220 in the PDF. In this part of the report, the Commission will examine the following little questions. Reactions undertaken by Israel on May 31st, 2010 to intercept and board the flotilla vessel outside the blockade.
Well, this is a problem.
With international law. Okay, so even Israel admits it happened outside of the protected area. Which
You know what?
seems to be-
I'm not
maybe.
gonna.
This seems to be a no-no. Was Israel's ceasefire
I don't care.
during the interception?
I'm never gonna see this again.
Organization of the Israeli military operation carried out. Okay, conformity between the actions Israel took to enforce the law governing the enforcement of blockade. As discussed in Chapter A of this report, Israel established the naval blockade as part of its international armed conflict with the Hamas. The legal regime governing the establishment and enforcement of such blockade is the laws of naval warfare. The relevant legal rules can be found in customary international humanitarian law, which have largely been outlined in the San Remo Manual. Article 97 of the manual states, a blockade may be enforced and maintained by a combination of legitimate methods and means of warfare, provided this combination does not result in acts inconsistent with the rules set out in this document, emphasis added. An attempt to breach a properly established blockade is a non-neutral act resulting in a loss of the protection and relative freedom of navigation available to neutral shipping under the law of the sea. As a result, a ship that attempts to breach a blockade becomes subject to the rules of international humanitarian law governing the conduct of enforcement in international waters. The Israeli armed forces boarded the Mavi Marmara and the other flotilla vessels 70 to 100 nautical miles from the Gaza coast outside the blockaded area, i.e. in international waters. There's been an ongoing international debate regarding the location in which ships seeking to breach a blockade may be boarded. The key issue in this debate is not whether such boarding may take place in international waters.
There we go.
What distance outside the blockaded area a party may board a vessel attempting to breach the blockade. According to customary international humanitarian law, an attempt to breach a blockade occurs when a ship is on a course destined for a blockaded port or is anchored while hovering outside a blockaded area so that it can evade the blockaded forces. As the U.S. Commander's Naval Handbook notes, knowledge of the existence of the blockade is essential to the offenses of breach of blockade and attempted breach of blockade. Therefore, if it can be established that a ship is purposefully attempting to breach a blockade, that ship is subject to capture wherever it is located. This has to be within reason, I'm sure. Like if I was like coming out of like again like a bay in the United States trying to break a blockade in South Africa, I doubt like a South African vessel can capture me. Destiny, they clearly stated their intention to breach the blockade. They explicitly said negative, our destination is Gaza, when radioed by the Israeli Navy. Mike, can you link me that? Hence, the flotilla organized participants must have been aware of the existence of Gaza blockade. The material before the commission demonstrates that the Israeli forces chose to enforce the blockade outside the blockaded area on the basis of two reasons. First, the intelligence assessment indicated that the Hamas were organizing small boats to meet the flotilla, and there was concerns that these boats would pose a security risk that the flotilla vessels were intercepted close to the Gaza coastline. Second, as was outlined in the testimony of the Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Ashkenazi, the intention of the Israeli forces was to capture the vessels with the minimum use of force, and during such an operation there was a great advantage to operating under the cover of darkness. As a result, the operation was carried out just before dawn, at which point the flotilla vessels were still located outside the blockaded area. These grounds constitute valid and reasonable operational considerations, failing within the customary rules regarding the distance from the coast that a blockade can be enforced. The Commission concludes that the Israeli armed forces were justified in boarding the flotilla vessels in international waters under the rules of international law, given the location and its destination. Wait, Mike, can you link me that? Negative. Was that in this report? This is the flotilla rate map. Okay, Cyprus, south of Turkey. No, it's from Istanbul from Greece. These are different ships. Okay, departure of the flotilla. Okay, first contact with Israeli forces, 30th May. Start of the assault. Okay. Territorial waters, disputed border. 12.5 nautical miles. Israeli Defense Force vessels, IDF vessels. Oh, I see. Okay. Mike gave a link. Okay, hold on. Jesus Christ.
Mavi Marmara, you are approaching an area of hostilities, which is under a naval blockade. The Gaza area, coastal region, and Gaza harbor are closed to all maritime traffic. The Israeli government supports delivery of humanitarian supplies to the civilian population in the Gaza Strip and invites you to enter the Ashdod port. Delivery of the supplies, in accordance with the authorities' regulations, will be through the formal land crossings and under your observation, after which you can return to your home ports aboard the vessels on which you arrive.
Okay, so that, okay. Okay, assuming, they said negative, our destination is Gaza. So assuming this part of international law is true, which I'm just making the assumption, but they could be lying. What page was this on?
There we go. Gas is done for this entire base. Nice.
Oh, it was international waters, maybe, right?
Alright, so now I can actually...
Force, okay.
What's going on here? Why are you... Oh, are we just not using copper? Is that it?
Okay, so assuming this is true, which I'm just making the assumption that they wouldn't just lie about it. Well, I guess they could be. Okay, alright. Okay, you ready? My brain is... Okay. Okay, so here's... Okay, so... It seems to be the case that... This is all under the assumption that the blockade has been agreed upon and it's an okay blockade.
So now we can go and fix that tracker.
If it is the case that it's an okay blockade, these ships were making for Gaza. Israel, if they believe the ships are making for this port in Gaza, have a right to intercept and try to
Autosave. Come on now.
Once they communicated, the ships stated, we are going to Gaza, so they showed intent to break the blockade. At the point that they showed intent to break the blockade, Israel has every right to intercept the ships. Once they intercepted the ships, it's pretty obvious. I don't know if you're watching this, but like the entire crew is like trying to.
They're allowed to do this.
No shot.
All right, hold on. Stop.
Okay.
Stop.
Sure.
Don't say another word. Don't poison the audience.
Okay. Well, aren't I poisoning them against me? Because like if I'm wrong.
No, you're poisoning them against me because they're just gonna say like and got beat the fuck up.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully that's enough gas. Hopefully. Alright, is there any other place that's out of fuel? That's out of fuel. Alright, sweet. So this tractor is going to get to that station and get its own fuel. Nice.
Assuming the blockade was legal, is jumping past the most important part. The blockade is illegal under international law. The blockade, apparently that's contested. I don't know if blockades are ruled upon by international law. I'm not entirely sure. However,
it's not the blockade. It's that the collective punishment purpose is what makes the blockade illegal.
But the collective punishment purpose is what? Yeah, that's what's being.
And that report you're reading from right now, the Turkle Commission, is for all the. By the way, this is an Israeli
It is. It's an Israeli
semi-official, not impartial report, and they exonerate.
That was a good drift.
Key things.
Wait,
that was actually pretty good.
Impartial?
No, it's semi-official. And I'm saying not impartial because it's Israeli, involved with an Israeli, like this isn't a watchdog group.
Okay.
But the, and hold, I want to get back to this, I'm not dodging it.
Sure.
So, what was the point you just made?
Well, what I was going to say is, what we're probably going to do is, I don't care about this UN General Assembly ruling the blockade illegitimate, because I believe
the Human Rights Council.
Yes, but this particular
human rights judgment.
Yeah, but this document is woefully inaccurate, or I'm sorry, inadequate to make that judgment.
In what way?
The entire point the
Oh, shoot.
presupposition of
Oh,
this
shoot.
UN report
Oh,
is to say
shoot.
that Israel's actions were bad because the blockade is unjustified, and the blockade being unjustified, they say because
We're
there's a
actually running out of fuel.
humanitarian
Okay.
crisis going on in the Gaza Strip. I feel like that's a full-on, like, fleshed out thing that both sides, because obviously Israel disagrees with that, with the UN, and to just throw that in here and then to say now everything they did was wrong and illegal, that seems like
I feel like it says more than that. Like, it also says that they were protected.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Well,
We are
hold on.
running out of
My
fuel.
understanding from what I read earlier, and I didn't read every single part of this.
Not making
I
enough
only
to
read like
produce the
15% from what you've
to
went,
facilitate
is the
our
entire
entire
purpose of this
factory
report is presupposing
networks.
that they can make the statement there is a grave humanitarian crisis in Gaza, the Gaza Strip, and that the blockade amounts to collective punishment. But those are two things that Israel is going to be fighting against. They're going to say it's not collective punishment; it's for security purposes.
Well, they don't actually. That's the point I was going to say. The Turkle report doesn't actually fight them on the security political basis of the blockade. That report does not.
How? There's no way you've read this. How do you know that?
I've not. See, I can.
So
admit,
if I control,
hold on.
well, no, yeah, I know, but I'm saying if I control a blockade, you don't think they're going to provide a justification for the blockade anywhere in here?
You find it. You get the proof Finkelstein wrong.
Okay, so this says Section A: the security circumstances in which the naval blockade on the Gaza Strip was imposed, and whether the blockade complies with the rules of international law. So it sounds like they are going to make that argument in here, which makes sense because that was the primary motivating part.
Not that they're making the case for law. It's whether or not they fight the dual security.
I need to siphon the fuel that I'm making here
Basis for which the ruling from the
and bring
Security
it to that base.
Council, Human Rights Council, is that for the purpose of those political reasons, though that constitutes collective punishment, and that's what the Turkle report does not reflect.
Okay. Oh Jesus. All right. Let's see. 4A. Purpose of the report.
You know, I'm sorry. Can we just real quick? Stop. Pause your chat.
What?
I just can't understand. Go up. Stop. I just can't understand why Lycan is so. Nope. Why Lycan is so. Go.
Why Lycan is unable to budge on any of this.
Yeah, that is the, again. I'll budge when I'm given a good shove to budge. God damn it. And it's not one guy, because I saw a bunch of this, and the subreddit was full of this shit. It's like, he fucking makes a case, and I buy into it, yeah, but I'm not digging my... I feel like I'm immovable and just being an asshole.
Well, I feel like you arrived at the conclusion in your post talking.
Fucking
But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But that was just my feeling because of like the way that all these sources are brought
Let's
up.
talk about this real quick for a second.
Go ahead.
Like, pro-Israel all my fucking life. I took interest in this before this fucking conflict happened. It started over the summer. The only thing that my mind changed on was like 2019 or some shit like that. Abby Martin goes on Joe Rogan when I used to listen all the time and says, you know, some things are happening. I look it up. I'm like, oh yeah, it seems like there's some apartheid conditions in the settlements, but it was like still Israel bad or Israel good fighting the bad guy, and they should stop the settlements and everything will be good. Sure. And then the more I learned.
Wait, okay, hold on, wait. I don't care about any of this, okay?
No,
this
because my image is being painted by this shit.
Okay.
So I'm not coming at this from like, you know, already conclusions, and then I just want this to be the case. And I'm wrong there. Okay. With each of these things, I'm reading, I'm learning. Not all this shit came from Finkelstein. I fucking just admitted I haven't read this fucking report. My understanding of this report does come from Finkelstein. Like, I don't know how much more honest I can be about this shit. So no, I'm not like arriving at conclusions and getting there. I'm being, you know, when I'm reading someone else's material, describing these situations, I am being led down a path of explanation, right? It's not just, this is the bad, worst thing ever, but then I go find research to support it because it feels good.
Gotcha. Okay, hold on, real quick. Jeez, so many things. Okay, somebody keeps linking this in chat. There have been much discussion about the legality of Israel's decision to take action on a flotilla of ships from other states in international waters. The relevant law relating to international waters is governed by the Convention on the High Seas, Geneva 1958, ratified by Israel in 1961, and likely to be customary international law. Article 2 of the Convention states that the high seas being open to all nations and freedom of the high seas comprises freedom of navigation. Article 4 states that every state has the right to sail ships under its flag in the high seas, and Article 6.1 states that when ships sail under the flag of a state, they shall be subject to its exclusive jurisdiction in the high seas. Article 11.3 states that no arrest or detention of the ship, even as a measure of investigation, shall be ordered by any authorities other than those of the flag state. Article 22.1 states that a warship which encounters a foreign merchant ship on the high seas is not justified in boarding her unless there is reasonable ground for suspecting A, that the ship is engaged in piracy, or B, that the ship is engaged in the slave trade, or C, the ship is of the same nationality as the warship. There is no piracy if any action is not committed for private ends. It follows from the above that all interference with a merchant ship under any pretense beyond the 3-mile limit is prima facie illegal. So prima facie meaning like just written as the rules. If you're doing something, it's illegal. I believe that's what prima facie means, right? So if the facts are like I murdered somebody and or I killed somebody with no reason, and the state wants to take me to court, and part of the facts of the case are, one is I killed somebody, you'd say, well, prima facie you have a case. If two, it's like, well, I didn't kill somebody, but I looked at them really mean, and 5 years later they, like fell off a fucking building and drowned, right? Prima facie, I don't have a case. There's no, like, you're not even on the level, right? Okay, that's what prima facie means, I think. Okay, but however, I don't know what this website
read the next page, or read the next paragraph.
Yes. The flotilla was reportedly attacked about 70 miles off the coast of Gaza outside an Israeli-declared exclusion zone. However, the Convention on the Territorial Sea does not recognize such exclusion or security zones, and the International Law Commission considered that extreme vagueness of the term security would open the way for abuses. Furthermore, Brownlee notes that the International Law Commission and the majority of states do not accept the legality of security zones, and therefore are unlikely to regard an ambulatory exercise of a right of anticipatory self-defense in any favor. So this legal analysis here rejects the idea that you can ever have not embargo, blockades. So if you want to roll with that, that's fine. But to say that all interference is prima facie illegal because this particular legal analysis rejects the idea of exclusion zones is a little bit silly, because my guess is going to be nobody else in the world runs their water, number one. And number two, is it the San Remo manual? Is this from? Oh God, bro, I don't want to know any of this. Okay. Blockade. Right. Sounds like, is it the Sam Remo manual?
I just want to say, like, there's.
I was gonna be like, I'm gonna be lazy and use tier 3 belts, but I'm like, you know what?
And I love you and I appreciate that.
I'll just go back to the base and get it.
All of it comes down here, and this is where my mind. I'm admitting to you, like, that my mind is being poisoned, okay, by the Mossad and by the IDF. Because every time I'm given these situations and I dig and I dig and I dig, it just seems to like get flimsier and flimsier and flimsier to a very frustrating degree. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe at the end of all this, we're like, oh, okay, yeah, it was pretty fucked up. Okay, so I believe that the San Marino manual is what is being cited here. I believe, yes, that's what Israel is citing, and I believe this has been ratified, or at least is being used by a whole bunch of different people. It sounds like everybody agrees, or a lot of people agree. We can look it up. San Remo manual, Wikipedia, that international waters, San Remo.
And I have not read this.
That's fine.
I'm just going to take a buttload of these things now.
It was adopted in June 1994 by the International Institute of Humanitarian Law after a series of roundtable discussions held between 1988 and 94 by diplomats and naval and legal experts. It is the only comprehensive international instrument that's been drafted on the law of naval warfare since 1913. So this sounds like the manual. It sounds like it. I could be wrong because I don't know anything about this, and I didn't before 2 hours ago, okay? It sounds like, from what I've read, this is the manual. Oh, they've even got a little Gaza flotilla right here. That this is the manual that,
Wait, do we have plastic coming in now?
Use when talking about blockades. So I'm just saying that this website, this link here, is dog shit because it's not taking into account that other group of internationally codified naval laws. Maybe they've got a good reason for it, but this.
Oh, I never actually. Wow.
So it's
okay.
Okay. All right, hold on. Boom, boom, close, close. Okay. Israel. In this chapter, we shall survey the security situation that led to the imposition of the naval blockade on the Gaza Strip.
What about steel? Steel should be working now, right?
International law. Legal analysis in the chapter should be divided into several parts. The first part of this chapter shall present in brief the complex factual background concerning the legal steps of the Gaza Strip.
Oh, that's plastic.
Okay. Wait, somebody said page 104.
Yes. Steel is back in business.
Oh, claims regarding collective punishment.
You know what? I should actually upgrade
this. That has been addressed is whether the blockade and Israel's land crossing policy are a form of collective punishment that is contrary to the rules of international humanitarian law. This is a very serious claim. Under the circumstances, it is important to analyze the concept of collective punishment, understand its basis in law, and potential relevance to the case at hand. The suggested basis in treaty law for this concept is found in Article 33 of the 14th Geneva Convention. In Article 50 of the Hague Relations of 1907, which prohibit the punishment of a protected person because of acts that they did not commit independently or for which he is not otherwise responsible. This prohibition was also recognized in the first additional protocol and the second additional protocol as a basic guarantee for all civilians and injured blah 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 blah. The various commentaries of the International Committee of the Red Cross provide a particularly broad interpretation of the term collective punishment. The commentary to Article 33 of Geneva Convention 4 indicates that collective penalties refers not to sentences pronounced by a court, but rather penalties of any kind inflicted on persons or entire groups for acts these persons not committed. Actually, here's a quick question, okay? Fuck me! Okay. I'm trying to get black pill.
Damn, Destiny.
On like the UN HRC shit. Here's just a question that I have, and I'm curious what your answer with this would be. Based on how I've heard collective punishment defined by the United Nations Human Rights Council, would it not be the case that every single embargo or every single sanction ever would be a form of collective punishment?
I think it has to do with the impact that you're having and your reasons for doing it. Like, so I think motivation is one.
Wait. That's not what the UN HRC is. Well, I don't want to hear your argument. The HRC's argument. It seems like they're saying anytime civilians are punished as a result of targeting like a terrorist organization or regime, it amounts to like a war crime or a human rights abuse or contravention of international law. But wouldn't that every single sanction ever then be violating this?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it's just one of those things that, how much did you preach during COVID times about trusting institutions? Like during COVID, during the Trump investigations?
Yeah, institutions are super important. I don't know where this institution comes from, I'm not sure, but I'm curious. Or where they come from. Okay, sanctions, collective punishment.
There we go. Now we have a buttload of steel coming in.
Because when I'm reading, admittedly, I'm being very, 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 very flagrant here. Admittedly, it sounds like what Israel is arguing, or is about to argue, based on a little bit I've read here, it sounds like what Israel's going to argue is that when international law speaks about collective punishment, what they're actually talking about is, let's say that me and another, troop, we get into a conflict, and let's say that we capture 53 soldiers. Okay, we bring the 53 soldiers back, and my brother got killed by one of the other soldiers here. I'm gonna beat the shit out of every single one of these soldiers. It sounds like that's what they're talking about when they say collective punishment.
I know after Casled, when the Goldstone report came out, they referred to it as collective.
Those trucks are fine.
The war itself was a form of collective punishment.
Sure, but also refers to sanctions, harassment, or administration acting to a group in retaliation for an act committed by an individual, such who refers to a group. Such punishments therefore target persons who have no responsibility for committed the conduct in question. This is other types of sanctions. Historically used as a deterrent tool by occupying powers to prevent attacks of resistant movements, collective punishment are acts committed by individuals during an armed conflict permitted by the IHL against prisoners of war or other protected persons. The following persons are protected by international humanitarian law. Wounded, sick, and shipwrecked, prisoner of war, civilian persons who, because of a conflict or occupation, are...
Oh, the fuel is stacking back up again. Okay. All right, sweet.
So they consider that, and I think that was a ruling after the 2009 thing, but I think it's been reaffirmed before in 2011, I think. I'm not sure. That, these people are the responsibility of Israel because they are still considered in their control.
Well, yeah, everybody agrees with that. I would never argue that. That's for sure, of course, yeah. If there was like somebody that came into the Gaza Strip, like actually, even if a foreign army started to invade the West Bank, I'm pretty sure Israel would have an obligation to defend the West Bank from a foreign invader. I think they would have that obligation. Okay. Religious, civil defense personnel, persons assigned cultural property.
Wait, what?
Shouldn't they also just include civilians?
You should. I know that those books are long and all that stuff, but I'm totally copying to getting my information on the flotilla primarily from...
No, that's fine. I would just never read a Finkelstein book. I would go to like another primary source or something else.
Right, but like he makes the analysis of all the points you're making and sources it. So check his sources, because again, that's what I did. So
well, yeah, but like, hold on. Wait, can you show me this? You made a very clear statement earlier saying that Finkelstein claimed that the Turkel Commission didn't address this.
There's a whole... That's why I said give me time.
Sure.
I need to go through and grab it all.
Okay, sure. What was the name of that book again?
Method and Madness.
Okay. What was the name of my e-reader, guys? I'm not gonna remember it.
Dangerous and reckless act is the chapter.
said method and madness, correct?
Can we take a real quick break for a second? Play that clip for forethought.
Oh god, oh my god, so much shit.
You're welcome, buddy. It's one of those YouTube ones. Link in chat.
All right, I think I'm done for today. Yeah, I think I'm done for today. All right, it's 2. Yep, done. It's time for me to go. Goodbye, people.